slashers and scream queens, and welcome to the Horror Daddies Podcast,
a podcast where we talk about horror movies.
And the daddies and
I'm your film daddy, John.
And I'm your horror daddy, Carlos.
But we do have some daddies in this episode, right?
We sure do.
Who is it?
I thought
wow.
you were doing
Ooh, wow. Yikes. Fuck that. Damn.
So guys,
rude.
Blame him. It was his line.
I don't know. I got nervous.
So we have our favorite horror daddies from the West joining us, Paul and Pablo from Scared Gay Podcast.
Hello. Oh,
It's our studio audience right here.
Yeah, I love your studio audience.
Thank you.
Adoring fans.
Yeah,
our only fans.
But thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you. Very last minute, but I appreciate it. What movie did we watch today, mister?
So we did watch one pretty iconic movie, I would say, right? Insidious from the year 2010. I had to scroll down and look.
I know, right?
All right.
Damn.
So when was the first time you guys ever seen or saw Insidious, or anything you have connection to the franchise or anything like that?
Oh, Paul, you go, then I'll go.
Can I? May I go?
Of course.
I didn't stutter.
We love each other, if you can't tell.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
No, I saw this movie in theaters, actually. And I went in, like, hearing good things. But something that Pablo knows about me, our listeners know about me, is that I have a really hard time with, like, PG-13 rated horror movies. And I keep forgetting that this is a PG-13 horror movie. So when I went to go see it, I was kind of, like, already kind of janning, but had heard good things. And I fucking loved it. This movie actually scares the shit out of me. And you forget that it's a PG-13 movie. There are certain things that I think you can recognize now on a second watch about why it is a PG-13 movie. But I loved it. The rest of the franchise kind of dipped off a little bit for me. But this one, just chef's kiss.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Same thing for me. I watched it in theaters. I heard it was great. I went in and, like everyone else in the theater, I fucking jumped when I got scared. I was like, no! Ah! And then I was like, why are there so many kids here? Oh shit, it's a PG-13 film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think I went to theaters too, or I saw it at home. But I will admit, I won't watch this alone. This is one of those movies where I need someone in the room with me because I won't watch it alone. It's just too scary for me.
Yeah.
I know. Look at me saying that.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
pretty
That's
big.
a great thing to say on a date, being like, oh, we should watch Insidious, but I can't watch it alone.
I'm too scared to come to sleep by myself. Oh, want to come over?
I need someone to sleep inside of me. I'm so scared.
You start shaking like my vessel. I'm an empty
my
vessel.
My empty vessel. Fill me up. I'm an empty vessel.
I mean, if it's Patrick Wilson, fill up the
Right.
Girl,
quick, daddy.
everything, anything.
Like,
Every hole is an
ready.
entrance to this vessel.
But
I will show
and
you what astral projecting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so good.
shit. But yeah, and then the Tulip song, like I remember a funny
Yeah.
fucking hate it. We were out one time with friends and we went through this abandoned farm by the airport, which now it's a warehouse. They build stuff over it. But we remember putting that song on. It was super dark, the lights were off, there was this abandoned car, it was in the woods. I was like, can we leave? And it's because of this movie.
Yeah.
So
that song, I mean, it always reminds me of SpongeBob. So
that's where I first heard it, but then this movie ruined it for me. And then the reason it's PG-13 is because they wanted to get a wider audience for it to, make more money.
yeah,
which,
of course.
on a $1.5 million budget, it made over $100 million, which is fucking great.
Yeah. It's
Whoa.
pretty fucking big. But it's like this one, and it's like James Wan kind of knew what he was kind of doing, and like he made two fucking great iconic films that, just like alike, they're sequels, and like the expanded universe kind of dips down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Conjuring and Insidious, and there's two so different movies that.
Oh my God!
Don't forget
so
Saw.
different.
And Saw. I mean, yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's cooking for
But
sure.
you can definitely see the through line. Like there are a couple of
yeah.
scenes in this where it's like that scene almost the exact same thing happens in The Conjuring. Like one particularly having to do with like a wardrobe and things jumping out of it. And but I don't hate it. I don't hate that it's that even though it's kind of a very similar shot, or there are similar shots, it's almost like homages and like a little bit of a theme to it, to where it doesn't feel like he was wasting ideas. I think I read on IMDb that they talked about how he was thinking about The Conjuring when he was making this film, and there's obviously a lot of influences. And I personally think it's great when directors have like their little things that they put.
Well,
I guess an Easter egg.
It's such an expression of a vision too, right? Like this is how he tells a ghost story, right? So like, in American Horror Story, ghost stories and ghosts are portrayed in a specific way, which is you can touch them, they feel like people, and then, you know, November 1st, they go, like, they just disappear or whatever. And in this one, like, they look like ghosts are supposed to look alike. They act alike. They do things very similar to one another. And so I do love it. He has a very, very strong voice, a very clear visual, like eye and way of telling a story, and I guess like a philosophy of horror. And so I think that's what makes a lot of James Wan's things so enjoyable, but then they peter off really fast. Like any, you know, good franchises, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just think he does scares really well, because it's, I mean, the demon itself, and then he also does cinematography super well. The score to this movie is very jarring too at times, and then it just like it vanishes, and then you're just like, what the fuck it just happened? It like catches your attention. Yeah, he's great. And then the composer for this movie is also the red-faced demon, which is
that's
really
cool.
interesting.
Yeah,
Wait, the guy who played the lipstick demon
he's the composer for the movie.
No, shut up.
Yes,
real?
girl, for real.
Yeah. Oh my God. Pero like, que what? That's nice.
Oh no, she better don't.
Oh no, there's Paul.
He got paid for both composer and act as an actor.
I hope so. I mean, Lee Whannell's also in this movie, and he wrote it.
Yeah,
it was a deal that he got hired on Groupon. It was a whole. You didn't see that? You didn't see that on IMDb?
Oh my God.
It was a casting call.
Yeah, but I just love how James Wan gets so fucking like weird with it too, because it's like the demon is not just scary, he's so kind of goofy. Like when they show his reveal at the end, it's kind of like a cartoon character.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's what I look like.
You got opinions. You got some opinions.
No, he just scares me. Like he's super scared of me.
That's what I look like at the end of Pride, where I'm just like,
it's true.
I will say it's really funny at the end when the kid's like, he's watching us, and he's like yeah.
Wait.
God, he's like a methed out like
John, do that
queen
again
at a bar.
John, I want to.
Yeah.
I mean,
not a dry.
He makes it for me.
Who taught you?
I mean, girl, I got experience.
Right.
I've been around.
Is that on your fucking Tinder profile?
That's on my on my Yelp.
On your Yelp?
I tell everyone I date here, you can, after the relationship ended, how was I?
Is that why you're
like,
2 stars?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I didn't say
I
that
give you
good.
5. I'm sure you're 6. You're 6. D9 stars.
I appreciate it.
With that lipstick tongue action, I'll let you go into my further anytime. Further and further.
Oh, Jesus.
You're making me blush.
Good. You're turning red now.
He's got fire on his face.
I'm the red face. Don't worry, Carlos.
I mean, if you
Okay.
got a tongue like that,
I'm going to start singing.
Well, when you talk about red face, now I'm thinking of even dirtier things that happen with straight people, but I won't.
Oh, God.
You got to get your Red Wings somehow.
Hell
Your
yeah.
Red Wings, yes. Shark Week.
No, not Shark Week.
Oh my God, Shark
He
Week.
hates.
I hate sharks. Sharks are no. That's a no for me.
They're scary. Yeah.
So there were 3 other daddies that were considered for this role. Do you want to take a guess?
Ooh, daddies? Oh shit! In the horror genre, like they're horror or more like big time.
They've been in horror movies.
Damn, I have no clue. I don't know.
Do you guys know?
Mm-hmm.
For what role?
For Josh's, for Patrick Wilson's.
Oh,
I know 2 of them.
Okay.
Skeet Ulrich and Ethan Hawke.
Oh, I didn't know Skeet Ulrich. Okay, I knew Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Skeet Ulrich. I feel like he's like almost been in things. Like it's like what was the last one, right? The last one we covered?
What did we do last week? It was last week's movie.
Actually, I forgot.
Scream?
Okay.
No, I don't know.
So they were
Leslie Jordan. I would love Leslie Jordan to play Josh. He's like, oh, my wife.
I moved for you.
I moved houses for you.
No, it was actually Alec Baldwin.
Oh, okay.
And Brendan Fraser.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been. I have a question, but we'll add. This is about Josh's character in the house, but that's later.
Okay.
On,
Well, Ethan Hawke turned it down because
He's too good for that.
Well, the funny thing is that 2 years later he makes Sinister, which is basically kind of the same movie.
Same shit.
tries to be,
which is a ghost story in a house with a family. The dad. Yeah.
So my first time watching this movie was actually with you. Because I think this was one of the first movies that you asked me to come over and we watched.
Oh.
And you had me watch like 3 movies in a row, but we all fell
Because
asleep.
I was trying to sleep with you. I remember.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Yikes.
And I'm like, okay, I'll come over. Super oblivious.
Wait, was Carlos like, I can't watch this movie by myself?
Yeah, and then I found it weird. He like was like, "Can you drink this real quick?" And I was like, "I'm good. I'm not thirsty right now."
Say that.
I'm just completely kidding, guys.
So Carlos's game is pretty insidious, if you will.
Insidious, proceeding in a great, gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects.
Exactly. There you go.
Damn.
So you were
Insidious.
trying, but I was too oblivious. So I was like, I'm good.
He tried to slid, and he's so, I don't know.
But that was, I think, the first time I came over to your place and we watched it.
I did recommend this movie a lot.
Yeah. I mean, and it was good because I think we watched 1, 2, and I think 3 was new. I think it was new at the time.
Oh, possibly.
So yeah.
Mm.
So, there we go. That was my first time.
Oh, my first
It
apartment.
was our friendship started.
I know.
That's beautiful.
Were you like, was Carlos like, John, do you want to tiptoe through these tulips?
He was too scared. He was too much of a pussy.
Yeah. Was he crying? Wait, was he freaking out the whole time?
Oh yeah, he was freaking out.
Hi. Really?
You were you were kind of scared. I remember.
I don't recall. So
Because you kept
I
you
can't
do this,
confirm nor
jump.
deny. I'm not gonna lie. I did jump today at one scene. Forgot about it. I was like, oh shit.
I jumped.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so this has good jump scares.
This movie is like jump scare central, like Beyonce, like Destiny's Child. Like this movie is jumping.
But
Like,
yeah, but this movie has effective and smart jump scares. It's not like the cat or like your friend that's like, hey, what are you doing? It is like you're scared of the things that you need to be scared about. They put the noises. It is so good, and that's what I think is smart about this film. It's clever, right?
Yeah. He also has a lot of like dark spaces, long shots, like no music. So you're like, is something gonna come out of there or not? And
He
that
also
just builds the tension.
Plays with color saturation a lot. When there's no ghosts, it's bright, and then when the ghosts come, it like starts to dim and gets into that weird, like
It's very muted.
Muted. Yep.
It feels dreadful.
Yeah, I hate the shots that it just pans to like a corner and it's just dark and you don't know if something's there, but it makes you feel like something is there.
Yeah.
I noticed something on this watch. I took it when we get to that part of the movie. I'll share it with you all and see if you all noticed it. because there's so much like small stuff in the background that is fucking terrifying, and a lot like that. This movie also lends for a lot of rewatches, right? Because there's so many things you can pick up on, and something you see new I've seen this movie a million times, and on this rewatch, not my first rewatch, my second rewatch for this, I saw something that I'd never seen before that's fucking terrifying. So.
Yeah, that's what I like about these two. That there's always something in a corner, and if you miss it, you miss it. But
and I really hope that it's not like my dumb ass just never missing. You guys are gonna be like, yeah.
James Wan clips this part, and it goes, he's lying.
He's like, yeah. Well, he's like, behind him is the red-faced demon in that one scene. Did you guys notice that?
He went like this.
And his mom screamed. I thought she just screamed at the chalkboard behind him. No, I really love you, Paul.
Isn't it funny that his mom's name is Lorraine, but he ends up marrying a Lorraine in The Conjuring?
Well, I was so confused.
Well, not him.
Well, not him, but sorry, Patrick Wilson's other character, Ed. Yeah. That's really funny. Sorry. Anyway.
So should we start?
Yeah. So
let's go.
This movie opens with a POV shot panning through a house. We see a child on the bed. And then there's creepy music. We see the bride in black. And then we get our title card. And then creepy credits. And these credits are really long.
Oh,
I was like, when are these credits over?
I was just sitting there like, damn, this movie's only an hour and a half. It's like an hour.
The title card is enough to make you shit yourself. Just just the flash of Insidious and like the candle, the violin, and it gave me. And there's a lot of stuff in this movie that you can tell is influenced by The Exorcist specifically. Yeah, that title card. The Exorcist also kind of, it's just The Exorcist, kind of like full screen, just the title like that. And it does, there's no like sound effect, but they added these like violins to it. And it's just like fuck James Wan, like Jesus Christ. Like I barely like threw my milk duds that I finished before I finished the previews, and I'm shitting myself.
Well, you know, a lot of times in title cards, like people aren't paying so much attention. And with this one, because it's like every other scene that they put in has a ghost, a hand, a face somewhere hiding in it that you, and like I remember in the movie theater, the people's reactions. And whenever I watch it with someone, they're like, oh God, oh my God. Oh, did you see that? Oh, what about that? Oh, no, okay. There's nothing in this. Oh, there it is in the next one. And so like you're paying attention. So it's a lot of fun. You're already now like, this is what this movie's about. You need to watch every single corner and every single thing, right? And sometimes we'll make it really obvious and sometimes not so obvious.
Yeah. I do love that just the title card alone can set up the tone, which with just that lingering sound where just like the peak of like your anxiety, it just holds it there for so long, and it just kind of says like your shit's about to go down. Like
it reminds me of when Cabin in the Wood did it.
Yeah,
I know they did it after, but they do it too, where it just jumps at you.
And
well, and
so
because it's one of those. Anyway, we'll talk about Cabin in the Woods later, but like where it's like they're making you pay attention. They're drawing you in somehow. With Cabin in the Woods, it's like, am I at the right film? Like what? Right. With this one, it's like you have to find that nugget, that scary thing, and then bam, like right in your face, like Emerald, bam, like. So good.
And the POV in the beginning, I felt like I was walking through a Halloween Horror Nights house. Yeah. With like she's at the window and then she kind of moves away and you're just like, okay, where does she go? And then you just turn down the hallway and she's just at the end of the hallway and it just zooms in on the bride in black, and I don't like her. I don't like her.
That bitch.
No. Yeah, that stupid bitch.
You like sleeping with your door open, so you don't look at that corner. Because I'll be standing there.
I got dogs.
One thing that I did notice, and James Wan does this really, really well, and I think as particularly in like haunted house movies, is learning like the layout of the house. Even though there's multiple houses through this, and when later scenes when we actually are in said houses, we do get a lot of the topography and learning like where, like how the houses are set up. That those seeds are on it already, kind of being planted in those opening credits, because you're seeing the hallway, you're seeing different parts of the houses. The clock. Exactly. And so it's just very much like it makes it so much better in a movie when you know kind of the layout of the house. And so I thought that was smart, and I'm sure that had to have been intentional.
Oh yeah, and he does that a lot with *Malignant*. He did the same thing.
Well, I was just gonna say
because you have the top view shot, and it's like, oh, I know that bitch's house. Like I go upstairs, the bathroom's there. They'll turn to the left, that's her bedroom. It's like
these houses walk so *Malignant* could run.
Exactly.
He especially with haunted house movies, like the house is a character. The house holds all these things, encompasses it, and the twists and turns of the house are also like lends to the ability of a ghost to hide and then come at you or grab you. Like, you know, your room could be both a safe haven for you, but also the site of terror at the same time. So, knowing a house is it's a really smart thing to do, especially in a haunted house film, even though this is like a haunted child film, and like what the fuck is he gonna do, like hella like male gaze all over this kid in a coma the whole entire time? Like, no. But you know, he does a really good job of making us fear the house. So then when we come home, we're like, my house has corners too.
That's true. That's very true. I will say, I wanted to ask, do you guys prefer this house aesthetic, which is like a more regular house appearance, or more like The Conjuring, where it's just like a super creepy house and that's just like the character? Because I've heard both arguments.
Well, like both houses. The first half of this movie, they're in a creepy fucking house.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about like the second like ranch style house that they're in.
Yeah.
I kind of like it being in your like everyday normal house. But at that point, it is a little bit different, because it would be interesting if it was flipped almost, right? Because the more like stucco track home, like we're in this second house where we expect it to be safe. At that point, when we're in that house, we already know that it's not the house. But to your point, I actually think it's creepier when it's your kind of average track home, like think Poltergeist kind of like that. Like that house
Paranormal
is not necessarily
Activity.
Good. Exactly. It's just a normal house. I think it's creepier when it's that, because then of course you walk into a house and you're like, this is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
For me,
it could go both ways.
Yeah. For me, it's actually a little bit of how they set up the house, right? Because like I've seen horror films and they set up a house and they don't really set it up very well to be scary and creepy, and others where they really like, you know, like I think this movie does a really good job with both. I think Paranormal Activity does an amazing job at making the house also seem ominous and scary, because they play in the house so much. But then I would say like what's it called? The Amityville Horror is a great one with a creepy looking house. So it's really about how the director plays with the house and lets you understand the house. Yeah. Though if I were to like make my own horror film, I would make it like in a modern run of the mill house to really like let you feel like, fuck, you're fucked. Like no matter where you go. You know, capitalism ain't gonna save you today.
I think the reason it works here for the house, even though the house looks completely like a normal house, it's his way of showing us in color schemes, or like making us feel like you're not safe with the music. Especially that second house with the alarm, with the clock at the end of the hallway.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I hate that shot, because my mom had a clock like that at the end of the hallways, and the rooms were set up exactly the same. My sister's was to the left and mine was to the right, and I would have been in Dalton's room.
Oh my god.
It's very creepy. It's just his way of directing it.
Here's my question.
Amazing.
Here's my question. I'm assuming that this takes place in California. I know how much houses cost in California. These houses look like they're in Pasadena or Studio City and San Diego. How the fuck does a family of 5 with a teacher's salary own the first house, which is obviously like $5 million?
Yes.
And the second house is probably starting at California prices $7.99.
They rent the second house, though. There is a sign that says for lease. They rent the second house.
Okay. I love the second house. I actually talked to Chris, and I was like, I would totally live in a little tiny, cute little house.
I agree with you, but I didn't notice the lease sign.
No, but even still, how the fuck did they afford that first house? Because they also make note that, she's her, singer-songwriter. For a hot minute, I was like, okay, she
probably writes for Beyonce.
She writes, but then they say that she stepped away from work so that she could focus on music.
Yeah.
So high school teachers in California, $50,000-$60,000.
Yeah, and
I mean underpaid.
Underpaid. And he wasn't a science teacher; he was like an English teacher. Science teachers make just slightly more, but that's it. So I was like,
in trouble.
What?
If he was my high school teacher, I would have gotten so much trouble.
Oh my God, I would have been failing my classes and been like, how do I get an A?
Right. Also, did you when I not on this because I already knew, but at first I always thought that he might have been cheating on her.
That's what I thought at
Coming
first.
home late.
Yes.
Oh, I gotta go to this meeting.
But that's what I like about this movie is that they totally subvert it. I don't think he's cheating on her. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. It's not that he actually believes her. To an extent, he eventually gets annoyed, but there's not he's secretly having an affair. He does some pretty shitty things as a husband, but then also does some good things. I thought that they did subvert that, that he's a teacher having an affair with a student, or they moved into this new house because she had a miscarriage, or they threw away a lot of those tropes. Something happened. There is
they do mention
illusions, something happened.
She does say, we said that we would have a new start here and things aren't changing. Yeah. She says stuff like that. And, and I think ultimately it's, I think it has to do with his childhood, not wanting to take photos, astral insemination or whatever it is that he does, asshole insemination. What is it called again?
I think it's exactly what they said.
Yes,
anal insemination.
Exactly, right.
Patrick Wilson.
Speaking of insemination, one time I was performing the eulogy at my grandmother's funeral. in South Carolina at this Methodist church, and I delivered the eulogy for representing my side of the family. And then afterwards, and I lived in South Carolina in the summers growing up, and so all these little old church ladies hadn't seen me in years kept coming up to me and they're like, "Now, Paul, where were you in seminary school?" For the love of God, it took everything in me to not say, "I'm not in seminary school, but I've been inseminated." And my mom knew that that's where my mind was going when these little old ladies were coming up and saying this shit to me, and
they're like, "Don't."
No. She's like, "No, don't." But so whenever I think of the word inseminate, I think of the time that I almost told all these church-going ladies that I had been inseminated, and I'm not in seminary school.
God,
that's all.
Yeah, I love that for you.
But yeah, I do like that he really isn't cheating. I feel like I think about it in the beginning, but then you see him just stay in school just to stay in school. He's actually
just staying in school.
And
you
then
guys,
you're
I have a confession to make. I have a confession to make. He was cheating on her with me.
Fuck.
Oh, please.
I know. Shut up.
Oh, please.
Patrick will sin with me.
Actually, no, he was with me.
What?
It's all of us.
I stayed home after.
Right? Yeah. Wow.
You guys are dumb. I fucked him, but I knew he was fucking everyone else. You guys are stupid.
Yeah, I kept it a secret.
We were all in the same room at the same time. We just didn't see it.
It was a horror daddy orgy.
We were all in different realms.
One of us were further than others. Yeah.
He was asshole projecting into each and every single one of us.
I just want to keep telling Patrick Wilson, just go further.
Further.
Oh my God.
And when you'll pull it out, check to see if there's any red on your head.
And I want Lynn Shay there coaching him. I want Lin Shaye there coaching him, being like,
with the gas mask.
With the gas mask.
Yes. Try this position. Try this position. Hear my voice. And Lee Winnell there is writing things, but instead of saying help me, it says fuck me, fuck me, fuck me.
He's just like, oh my God, what is happening in here?
And his wife is there the whole entire time
out.
crying, Dalton! We're like, shut up.
Shut up, he has to find us.
And then the other two kids are like, we fucking exist too. Fuck you,
And then
Dalton.
I go, I know. You're my biological child, not your mom's.
Oh my God, what a reveal. That
I'm
should
not
be
gonna lie.
in the 6th movie.
I forgot about the line that the kids are with the grandma. So I was like, what happened to the other
Yeah,
two
those
kids?
kids disappeared.
Like,
Where did they? Wait, who's watching them?
Grandma.
so there's
grandma.
a line that the grandma took them. I forgot about that line.
No, but the grandma comes back.
Oh,
That's true.
For like a minute. CPS. It was Child Protective Services.
They had
But,
the baby monitor. They had the baby monitor.
They just left the kids in the further. They're like, we'll be right back.
they put all the food outside. Like, look, you can make sandwiches for a couple days. I'ma leave. See you.
I
That's-
know, right?
That's
For
how
real.
Madeline McCann got abducted.
Stay with Grandpa. And Grandpa
shut
is in the
up.
couch, like, dead. Like,
For real.
God.
It's
We're
so
never
funny
gonna
that-
get through this goddamn
No.
movie.
Yo, we're still in the opening.
That's what I told Patrick Wilson. I'm just kidding. Go further.
Oh my god. They're probably with Jessica. And Jessica's a character in the second movie. That's who they kids go with.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was like
sure.
the baby in the well from the 80s?
Pablo, they're too young to get that reference.
I know. They're like, they're being polite.
I'll never forget. I don't remember if it was on the first time you guessed it on ours or we guessed it on yours, and Pablo and I realized that you guys are called Horror Daddies, and both of us are much older than you.
Oh, yeah. That was our first episode.
We were like,
Oh.
But
Age is
but,
just a
but
state
it's
of
okay.
mind.
But it's okay. It's okay. I'm much younger than Pablo.
Oh, shit.
I'm pushing 30 next year.
You 30?
it's okay. I look much younger than Paul.
Oh.
I don't have
We're
any.
gonna move
story.
on.
No attacking other people in this show, okay?
Yeah, Paul.
Only fucking.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Back in. Only thing.
So, opening credits.
All right. So we open on Renee and Josh. She wakes up. He's still sleeping, looking like a beautiful angel. But they seem to have just moved here because they're she's unpacking the house.
Yeah.
Then Dalton wakes up. They have matching pajamas. I
thought it was cute.
Okay. Yeah. Can we talk about the pajamas for a second? That is that is some white people bullshit.
I'm glad you said it because I said it during the movie.
She shows up in these fucking, like, we wore these types of pajamas for Christmas, and that's it. And no one goes to, like, going to bed with, like, the button-up pajamas, and there's, like, monkeys and bananas on it. And then he comes, and I was already offended by her pajamas. And then to top it all off, his name is Dalton. Like, there is not, like, my name is Paul Jordan. I get it. I have a very white name, too. But, like, it's just the caucasity of it.
It's called diversity.
I feel like he came out of her womb at 20 years old with that name. My name is Dalton.
Oh my god.
I actually really like the name Dalton, but obviously.
What are the other kids' names? Dalton?
Foster and Callie.
Oh, God. Come on. Let me
Okay.
guess. They adopted that one?
But I was so
Oh my
offended
God,
by their
no.
matching pajamas. Like, he's too, like, all I needed was Patrick Wilson to be.
Daddy?
Why didn't they just have Patrick Wilson shirtless in bed?
Girl,
That's
bro,
the scariest part of the film. That's
I
the
said
scariest
the
part
sa-
of the film. They
I
kept
said
him
the
in
same
clothes. I was
thing.
like, terrifying.
Because they knew he wouldn't pay attention. I had a hard time when his thighs were out when they were in the when he was in his boxers earlier, and I'm like, I'm having a really hard time watching this movie.
For real.
That's when you get a jump scare. So it's like, hey, the movie.
So I
The
did say I did say the same thing, but then my husband was like, oh well, when she went upstairs, the furnace turned on. It's probably cold outside, and I was like, we still sleep without clothes when it's cold.
He's like a trad man, so he would walk out like, I'm fine.
Bitch,
I was like, there's no way he sleeps with that shirt on.
Patrick Wilson can be in a fucking fucking Antarctica. It should be illegal for him to fucking wear clothes. Fuck this. I'm mad. No, sorry.
Lower it. 1 star.
It was 2010. Yeah. It was different times.
You know what? Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't that confident because after that we do see him shirtless.
Bitch, we better.
When? But there's a part later where he's talking to her and he's like, write a song about me and write about my big muscles. Rosebud. I was just
yeah.
I was just like, clean up on aisle Paul. Like I couldn't.
No, for me, when he's like protecting the house and closing a door that was open, I was like, there are my ankles by my ears. What just happened?
When he sets that alarm.
Oh yeah.
Just like
when he saves his son, I'm like, oh god.
When he flashes the light outside and goes, who's there?
Yeah.
When the demon was behind him, I was like, oh, I wish that was
I have never
when his name showed up.
I have never wanted to be Lynn Shay so bad.
When she was getting choked.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was like, damn, she lucky.
Oh my god, she was so lucky. Oh god.
Dalton.
Last night we had sex and I made my husband call me Lynn Shay. No, I'm just kidding. No.
He did that on accident. He had to get off somehow.
Right before you came, you were like, I'm going to empty this vessel.
Right. I'm like the further scary nun. Yay.
She's really tiny in person. We saw her a couple of weeks ago. She was tiny and skinny.
Yeah, she's super
She looked so
small.
frail. I was like, oh.
Like, please, we have to protect her.
Yeah.
Damn, that looked good. Sorry, that looked good.
Sorry.
Okay.
Garlic bread.
So yeah, we meet Dalton. He can't sleep because he's scared of his room. So we're kind of now getting kind of hints that something might be happening here, and then they're looking through old photo albums, and we find out that Patrick Wilson's character doesn't have any photos either in that album. So we kind of get that there too. And they do have 3 kids: Foster, Dalton, and Callie.
I thought they did a good job with exposition there.
Because they're not like. Yeah, they're not like throwing it in your face. It's kind of subtle.
They're not being like, see, Dad doesn't like to have pictures taken.
Yeah.
I will say there's one scene here that fucking infuriates me with with how they describe something that they're showing us. We'll get there when we get there, but it's one of my pet peeves about this fucking movie. Probably never get there. Yeah, at this rate, tomorrow.
Yeah. Right.
No, but
we'll get there when the 5th one comes out.
Right. So he is a high school teacher. She's a musician, songwriter, whatever. She's alone with the baby. This is when she goes up to the attic, and I guess the furnace turns on by itself, which I don't know if that was paranormal or just it happened.
I think this is like implementing us that what could it be? Because it also could be like nothing, or it could be something. Like it kind of plays with us. Because also Dalton being scared, it could just be a kid that's afraid of his room. Like it happens. Sure. It's a new house.
That's true.
So. But I will say that trad family looked like a hot ass mess because she's over here cooking, fucking carrying kids, running around, stressing on the phone, and he's to Patrick Wilson just
right, and then fucking biting into wax fruit.
Well, that's why I thought he was cheating because I was like, you don't see her struggling.
He's
help her,
right? And she's the one who unpacked everything and put it away.
Oh,
and
when he got home, when he got home, the house was done. I was like, good on you, because that took me forever.
Yeah, but also, this is not Patrick Wilson. This is Josh. I'm talking to Josh. Okay. Josh seems like the type of guy that if you complain, you're like, hey, I unpacked this whole house by myself. He'll be like, yeah, but I fuck you. You're lucky to get fucked by me.
Well, first of all,
I don't think Josh is like that.
I don't think Josh is like that. You know what I think would happen, and maybe I'm just fantasizing. She's like, I unpacked this house by myself. Now go upstairs, clean out, bend over, and Mama's gonna peg you, daddy bitch.
Oh.
Okay, Pablo,
that sounds like a good time.
You fucked that up because you were using the word pack. You should have incorporated fudge pack. Go upstairs. I unpacked. You're going upstairs. I'm gonna fudge pack.
Nope. He's gonna have to clean out because he's used to this.
No, because Renee's a dirty bitch.
Because Renee's a well, she's not.
Oh, yeah, she eats ass. She definitely eats ass.
With Patrick Wilson as a partner, please.
She's bougie for sure.
You think? Oh,
She's
that's not true.
Bitch,
She's
so
bougie.
she's so skinny she ain't eating food. She got her face up in his cheeks the whole entire time, forgetting everything, decorating the house with wax fruit.
Don't blame her.
No, I don't blame her.
Okay, but Josh,
I'd be too.
Josh, how stupid are you to pick up a
Right.
That's true. It's like
It's
you
like
don't
a
know what's
texture.
in your fucking house.
Texture.
Yeah, it looks like fucking plastic.
That's why he's a teacher, not a professor. I'm just kidding.
That-
Sorry, I love all teachers. Everyone is smart.
Fucked up. That is fucked up. I don't know if you know. Okay, don't do this, Pablo. We have a podcast. This
I
happened
know,
to
I
Megan
know.
Trainor. Megan Trainor just said something about teachers on a podcast, and the world did not.
No,
respond
no.
at all.
Teachers are fucking underpaid, and they
No, they
deserve
are.
everything. He
This
should
is
be able to
this
afford
is
this
a
out.
comedy podcast. You know,
This is all comedy.
Yeah.
We're just joking.
Yeah.
I just say what Paul is thinking.
Well, you were thinking it. Well, you said it. I know.
No, never said that. Teaching is one of the most respectable careers.
Hey, I could not.
So let's not
I
come
thought
after
about
that.
it, and that's so stressful. Like
It's
I don't
so
know how people do
stressful.
it.
It's so,
So-
you know
so-
what? The social sciences and all that stuff, people do not fucking give it enough credit as it should. And they really need to. We need therapists. They don't get paid enough. Social workers, teachers, academics don't get paid enough. It's fucking it's fucking insane. Sorry. I don't wanna go
no,
on.
So
I get
thank
it.
you
I
to
get
all of our teachers out there,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
especially the ones that look like Patrick Wilson.
Yep. Anyways. So Dalton is not being watched, so he ends up going into the attic by himself. He tries to turn on the light and falls on his head. And then something seems to happen where he screams for mom and dad. They go up to the attic and he bumped his head.
Wait,
Now,
I just
my
love
question-
Carlos's Dalton. Well, Dalton's not being watched, so
Yeah. Horrible parenting.
He wasn't.
right.
But
My thing is, why is the stakes so fucking high up? Like even Patrick Wilson couldn't even get it. He had to get on the ladder. I'm like, what
I
the
know.
fuck?
I
That's
know,
what the
I know.
ladder's there for.
Well, and earlier in the movie, Renee, she goes to turn on the light too. She's the one who breaks the step,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
then it's magically fixed, or I guess he can't
No.
see that it's like not broken.
I think he didn't see that it was broken, if I'm
He-
not mistaken, because I think
he
he's
didn't see
he's
'cause
only
it's
looking
dark.
at the light.
Yeah. He's like, and it's dark
Yeah.
because
Well,
there's no
do
light.
But that's also a
it's too- it's
brave ass
high up.
kid. That's a brave ass kid.
Well,
I was gonna
remember,
say, it's
he's
the
brave.
last fucking
He-
thing. The last fucking thing
Hell
I'm
no.
going into is a dark ass.
Bitch,
attic.
he goes into the fucking netherworld every single night of his life, and he's like,
He
"Fine."
didn't know. He
It doesn't
didn't
matter.
know.
He's learned some bravery. Like
He's
that's
flying.
That's not gonna be as scary to him as fucking what he sees. And
Paul just had a Wicked Witch of the East bro moment.
yeah,
He
for
didn't
sure.
know. It's true. He didn't know. He thought it were dreams. Yeah, but then he sees something. So do we think he sees the demon here, or
That's what I mean. It could be literally anything.
So I had a theory
because
I
it makes
feel like
a sound.
yes,
Yeah.
And then he had a bump on his head. He didn't really fall on his head. So my theory is that the demon came out and fucking punched the shit out of him. So then when he ends up in the coma that night, the parents think that he hit his head.
oh,
Hey, bitch, what's up, bitch? Suck my dick, bitch.
I think it's a continuity error.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably
It's
just
just
was
funny.
like, "Fuck it, whatever." He fell.
It's funny to think that a demon came out and said, "Bitch," bah. and then ran back.
I know that
Shit, I gotta
demon.
go.
That demon's like, "You little faggot."
If you want to hear self-deprecating
Pride
gay
Month.
jokes, please turn over to Scared Gay Podcast.
Sorry.
Pablo and I use that word far too frequently when we were watching.
We
We're
take
allowed
it
to.
back.
It's your word.
Thank
I
you.
can't say it.
Thank you.
Nope.
I don't have that pass.
When we did our faculty episode, I referred to the movie as the faculty.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, that was great.
So yeah, everyone heads to sleep, and
Yeah.
I guess here we kind of get this eerie, very like dreadful moment that something's happening to Dalton. We just don't know what. And then when we wake up the next morning, he's not waking up. So we go to the hospital, and he seems to be in some sort of coma.
And they're like, I don't know what happened. He's just in a coma.
The doctor,
Yeah,
is kind of like, he's only been in a coma for 2 days.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Like,
yeah.
hey, why you tripping? Why you tripping? Hold on, I'm getting paged. It's fine. Gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, and doctors are mandated reporters, so I could imagine that the doctor being like, this kid randomly just falls and is in a coma, and the parents are here and they don't know what happened. Yeah, they're fine. Like any other, if those were Latino parents, black parents, like parents of color, they would have been like, your kid is in a coma, shipped off to jail right now.
He had no brain damage. No brain damage.
But also the doctor is like, gives two shits, like no bedside manner. And it's just like, it'll be fine. These things happen.
My Postmates is here.
I was just about to say my Uber Eats is here.
He's like, I gotta clock out.
Gives zero shits because
we're gonna do some more testing. Bye.
He walks away when Patrick Wilson's mid sentence of like, what kind of test? What are these gonna take? And the doctor is basically just like behind him, like.
I gotta clock out right now.
Right.
No, I mean, I do hate that he goes, does he have to stay here all day? And he's like, yeah, kinda. Cut to him at the house. And
well, 3 months later.
Oh, I guess that's true. Okay,
that's a little bit
enough.
of comedy because he's like, so like, how long are these tests gonna take? The doctor's like, I don't know. 3 months.
3 months later. They should have done the SpongeBob. 3 months later.
That would be so good. So good.
And this movie has some moments like that where it kind of cuts to
it's like
a comedic little moment like that.
Yeah.
And they're really nice because this movie's
they
fucking
do
terrifying.
a good job of like, but it's not oversaturated. And then of course with we meet the comedic relief characters later on, but they do a good job of incorporating just enough, but it's not like the movie definitely still operates as a drama. Like I do feel like if you took out very specific comedic moments, this movie would run still very well just as a straight drama with no levity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, he's still in a coma 3 months later. I'm surprised the mom hasn't
freaked out. See you, Dalton.
Unplug it.
Oh Jesus!
I want to know what I want to hear the Lana Del Rey type music she's written.
Oh
right.
Oh my God, I know, right?
It's probably bangers.
I mean, I while watching this, I was kind of like, what if she had a rap career?
Oh my God, she's right. Do you guys know Sukihana? She's writing the song. My man's eating my ass. He want to switch. Now I'm eating his ass. He's doing that Sukihana song.
I just imagine
she's
her
like
being
the nastiest.
She said that I'm good enough. She's at the piano singing Ice Spice. Just no, not this line.
She's become a TikTok influencer. Day 98 of my son in a coma. Get ready with me.
Right? And he's in a filter. Just like drag makeup filter.
She's doing a dance with him in the back like this. She's just like...
She's just doing her makeup. My husband has not come home.
I know,
right? The thing is that I see that happening in today.
The thing is it actually is real. He's like, get ready with me before I go to my abortion. Like...
Right?
Today in the life of Dalton Still's not awake.
It'll be like a YouTube like clickbait where it's like, my son still hasn't gotten awake. # emotional. # no clickbait. And it's her crying and Dalton in the
It's just Dalton. It's like 2 hours of Dalton.
She puts a live camera on him 24/7.
Yo, why are we coming for her? She hasn't done anything.
Yeah, and she should be doing more.
And she's actually a good mom.
She's really good.
Renee,
I love
Renee
that Josh is the villain. And we're coming for her.
I wouldn't even necessarily call Josh the villain. I think that's one of the things that I like about this movie is I think that it takes a lot of like what's wrong about like Poltergeist, Amityville Horror. obviously we're jumping because we're going to talk about, how they move later, but it takes that whole, like, our money's tied up in this house. It takes the whole, like, you're just a crazy woman with too much time on her hands. And I think that this subverts a lot of that to where there's not a character that I actually, and I usually hate a lot of characters. I don't hate anyone in this.
No.
I hate Tucker. I hate Tucker, but that's a whole.
Oh
other
yeah,
story.
Tucker's
the hot pocket guy.
Yeah, Tucker's an incel, but that's one thing. But like, no, I agree with you. No one in this is bad. They all really seem to be multidimensional in a way. Like even when they do bad things, you're like, well, yeah, they're overwhelmed and they don't know how to react. And like, then you hear like, oh, they actually, it's well written.
Credit to James Wan and Lee Winnell for actually giving us characters that are making logical choices.
Yeah.
That are,
and I think that's what I like.
You're not screaming like, don't do that.
Exactly. I hate when people don't make logical choices in movies. I actually find it really fucking trite and super overused.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, come on.
Yeah, because it just becomes like a cliche at that point because you're just screaming at the monitor and it kind of takes you out of it because you're like, that would never happen. Like,
yeah, that would never happen. And now I'm watching a movie that can only exist with stupid fucking people, and I hate stupid fucking people.
And I think that's what made this movie so great back in 2010. It's like, hey, let's break the tropes. They're actually going to move, but there's a twist to that.
Exactly. And it's like, we could still have tropes, but having a twist to it.
Yeah, and they're afraid because they don't know what's happening. But you know what? He's going to try. And then, then they're going to realize he's not going to be super stubborn. He's going to realize something really is happening, right?
I mean, he'll throw it at your face. He'll be like, I fucking moved houses for you. What the fuck? I'm doing everything good for you, but I believe you. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, for real.
He has a line. Okay, we're about to get there.
Yeah.
So the nurse is showing her what to do with Dalton. Yeah. Then we cut to her playing the piano. She seems tired, very out of it. But the baby monitor goes off.
I'm glad she was actually playing the piano and it wasn't a cut to her hands.
Yeah.
It was actually her. It was very simple chords, but still, she was the
tried.
one playing the piano.
It was low-key kind of pretty. I was like, I kind of like this.
Yeah, like you said, like Lana Del Rey type. And I was like, okay, I vibe with that.
But yeah, the baby monitor goes off, and the baby monitor, we put on the subtitles because I was like, what is this? Is this saying something? And it's saying, there's nothing you can do. I want it. Give it to me. And I was like, yes, Patrick. But this is good because then it's like it keeps repeating it. I want it, give it to me. I want it, give it to me, and then like a really high like sting, and then I want it, and then she runs upstairs and there's nothing in the baby's room.
Yeah, I think
that is really scary. I
want
it.
He's like, what now? He says now or something.
It's scary.
It's so
that really
creepy.
Fucking freaked me out.
That's kind of like Scary Movie how Cindy's like, hey Bobby, I want it now.
Oh my God, shut up.
That happened in a different realm, but at the same time.
James Wan said Scary Movie was a big inspiration.
But I do love that, like, she, instead of like running upstairs being like, what's in here? She kind of stayed downstairs and looking up like, there's something in there and I don't know what the fuck to do.
But I'm also like, girl, your baby could be getting murdered.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, would you go upstairs and see what's happening? Because what if you see something you'll never want to see it?
My baby's up there, so I think I would straight run up there if I'm hearing some type of noise.
Okay, but she also does something a little later that I'm kind of like, maternal instincts where?
I think we know.
Okay. We're gonna get to
no, but okay, she is a good mom, but I do think that because there is something to be said for, like, I mean, if this stuff were to be happening to you, right? Mm-hmm. You want to go to that, like, it's easy for us when we're watching a movie to go to that, like, oh, this is a goat, like, something's happening, but in the real world, you are kind of, your mind's gonna go, that's not actually happening.
Yeah, you're like, wait, before I overreact, I really need to make sure that I know, or I'm actually kind of scared. I don't know what the fuck to do or believe in right now.
Well, it's like I've always told Carlos, it's like it's easy for us to say because we have all these horror movies, but in their world, we don't know if they have horror movies really. Like they're experiencing ghosts for the first time for all we know, and it's like different zombie movies, how they don't know that those are zombies. It's just like in their world, you have to take it to that they don't know about horror movies, so they don't have that instinct of us.
Especially degenerates like us.
Exactly.
Who watch way too much horror.
Yeah.
Where our minds immediately go, this place is fucking haunted.
The light flickers a little bit,
It's
and you're
like
like, oh, well, there's a demon.
Yep, that's me.
When was this house built? Was there a Native American burial ground?
Right. They're like, there wasn't a Native American burial ground. This is Ireland, and this house was built 2 years ago. This Airbnb.
Like, I don't believe it. Who died?
Right. But we cut to that night, and then I guess her other child, Foster, got an award. She didn't really tell them, or he didn't really tell them.
Did you know this actor, the actor who plays Foster, is older than the actor who plays Dalton?
He looks older.
But he's supposed to be
Dalton
younger.
the oldest?
Dalton's
Oh,
the
is
oldest.
he supposed to?
Oh, I didn't know that. I always thought he was older.
I thought he was the oldest. Yeah. Huh.
This scene broke my heart a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
to where you like, I actually did wonder. So thank you for pointing that out, Pablo, because I wasn't sure if he was older or younger either. Because he is, and I think it makes it even more sad that he's the younger brother, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't share this with you because I recognize that there's bigger things going on right now."
Yeah,
and,
that's sad.
And I don't want to, and like, I do think this is a good family. Like, I do think, all intents and purposes, as much shit as we want to talk about Josh, like, I think he's a good dad. I think she's a good mom. They do everything right. And that's what kind of adds to this kind of tragedy of this movie, right? Is that like they're a good family. So
Yeah, because this thing actually does what, Lorraine or Lynn or whatever her name is says, like it causes chaos. And the chaos is that this family's starting to like unravel a little bit, This little boy's afraid.
Yeah, and it's really scary because then he's like, "Oh, well, I'm scared of Dalton because I see him walking around every night."
That
my ass fell off.
Terrifying. That really terrified me.
So when night cuts, it cuts to him sleeping. You just look down to Dalton's room. You're just waiting for something to pass by. I was waiting for some type of ghost to just walk right by his door as he got up to go close it, and we're just panning to Dalton's room. And I'm like, is Dalton really walking, and we haven't seen that ourselves either? Yeah. Like, or is this kid just seeing the further, like his brother? And I think it's done really well. It's kind of very A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think this would be a very interesting concept to introduce to that franchise if they ever did that, where Freddy gets you in a coma and you're stuck there.
Yeah. I just love that he pans these shots where it's just pure darkness, and then you're just waiting for something to happen, and it just cuts to like day, and it's like it just your inner fear is just like, oh shit. They just told us that Dalton's walking around, cut to this long shot of like his door. Yeah. And it nothing happens, but you feel like something is already there. And as he's
closing the door, I'm like, oh my God, something's going to grab this kid and pull him or something. And
I know,
happens.
Right?
It's so dreadful.
You know what's interesting about this movie is like, when you see this movie, it's so scary that you don't want to watch it late at night with all of the lights turned off. But you have to watch this movie at night with the lights turned off. Because it's so dark and there's all this other stuff that you will miss in the background. And even still, like, I think all of us, like, we fall asleep watching horror movies and everything. And this one's kind of hard to fall asleep to because it is very, like I'm, like, having my cat, like, spoon me.
Yeah,
because you never know. It's like Paul's background. Like there could be something back in that door back there.
Hopefully, watch it be me. I'm like,
just
don't fucking do that to me. I'm the only one. I live alone.
Hey Cindy, look, I'm on TV. Yeah, and then it just cuts to Renee telling Josh what happened to her today. But all of a sudden we hear knocking on the door, and you're just like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like it's late
Has
at
that
night.
ever happened to you? Like late at night, someone comes to your door?
No.
That happened to me once.
Fuck that.
And I told my ex, like, stay in the room and keep the dog. Like, I'll fucking figure it. And they were like, not only knocking, like, like they were banging on the door and then trying to open it at the same time. And it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I'm in my underwear and I'm like, I jump out of bed. I grab a bat because I'm like, I'm a fucking, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. And I go to the door and I could see, like, it was like paned windows and I could see the silhouette of a person. And I was like, fuck this. And I just like throw the door open. And it was really funny. I didn't have to fight or do anything. My building has like, there was my door. And then on the other side of the building, there was another door. And that other door led to all the garbage. The garbage man was coming in and he was like, he was first day on this route. Shit. And he was like, and he was like, I think I got the wrong door. And he had the whole uniform. He had the whole garbage thing in the back. Jesus. And I was like, yeah, you did.
I'm just imagining you, Pablo, with the bat, like, and slowly turning around the corner and like walking down the hall, like Cotton Weary in Scream 3.
Scream 3?
Yeah, we're just being like,
I think I ran down because I was like, what the fuck? I just immediately was like, run down, open it, take care of it now. I don't know. I was like, why did I do that? Like,
it would have been funny if he was like, you told me the door was unlocked and you were waiting for me ass up. What happened?
I was like, what?
Like, you said you host.
Yeah,
but
that was
this scene is very tense because you don't know who's knocking on the door, what's knocking on the door. And then Renee goes to check on the baby because the baby's crying, and there's a fucking motherfucker right behind the crib. And
that part is so scary.
That's scary.
That scared the shit out of me, especially because before the sound cue goes, before she turns the lights on, he's in clear fucking view. It is. That scene will keep me up at night.
And you're just like, he's right there, and then she sees him, and it's woo, and she screams for Josh. Josh runs up the stairs, and then the alarm goes off.
Okay, but this is the one thing I will give a knock. She like screams for Josh.
Chris, you should just stand up.
And she doesn't grab the baby. She goes like out the hall and is like, Josh. And she doesn't grab the baby until Josh has already gone in the room.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got really scared because we're talking about someone behind.
That's my husband, Chris.
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
He's the demon again.
I was like, what do you mean? No one's in the room. What door?
I'm sorry.
But you're so right, though. She, like, stays away. She's like, hell no. Fuck that baby.
We didn't want you anyway.
I'm not attached to the baby yet. I didn't breastfeed. Like I'm not attached. Yeah. Bye.
I've never been so happy to have Never mind.
Right. It's like,
never mind. I'm not going there. I made a Shark Week joke earlier, and
I'm not gonna lie. I would have had either two instincts here. Either I was gonna run and leave the baby, depending, or I was gonna jump at that man and fight him.
I would have been like, take him.
I would. No, there's a middle ground. There's a middle ground because the baby is in between her and the guy. So you make the baby fight the guy? Behind. Yes, he's behind the curtain. So I would just grab the baby and run towards my husband.
I totally thought you were going to say I'd grab the baby and throw it at the guy.
I would have grabbed the baby and slammed it on his head.
Or push the crib towards him to push him out the window. The window's right behind there.
With the baby in it?
Not the whole crib out with the baby. Well, the baby was. I would have pushed the crib. He would have fell over. But the baby would have been like, "Sorry, I had to do that."
Carlos, you're making this really.
He's gonna have some problems at the end of the day. Something's gonna happen. He's not gonna be fully there, but he's gonna get damaged up a little bit. But he'll be fine.
Well, you see, I don't have this issue because I have dogs. My dog would have been like, "Get him." But yeah. So then Josh goes back downstairs and he's looking around the house. Mm-hmm. And this scene is very tense because you're just like, it's going to pop out of the corner now. And the house is.
But this is also. I'm very tense and very tensed because he's in his boxer underwear. Shorts.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just like. Yes.
He should have been walking around in a jockstrap.
Yeah. Straight white man in his boxers. Right. So then,
John, stop playing those recordings of me.
I can't. I have you right here.
Oh, God.
But nothing happens, and we just get music, and we cut to him at school. We do have an Easter egg of Jigsaw behind him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't know if you guys
and
noticed
something that says blah 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 James Wan by 2, right behind him.
Yeah, so he has names on the board that are supposed to be as students, but it's actually part of the people that worked on this movie. They're all from people that worked on it. Mm-hmm.
They're the students that are in detention.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's funny.
I will say, doing something like that is the one I actually don't like that a whole lot. I would like it if they described that they lived in the same universe as Jigsaw. I'd be like, okay, whatever. But to reference other movies and to reference the director really does. I would be really, especially this film. I'm super into it, but then I see that and I'm like, that's right. I'm watching a film. Okay. It takes me out of it really quick.
One or the other. I think if you have just the name there, especially I think it's cute when they do it for crew and everything. I think that's fine. The director's name, I agree with you. It's and you add that on top of the Saw thing. I mean, we don't know that this universe does not exist within the same Saw.
We don't
universe
and the Invisible Man.
If you want to be Lee Winnell is not the character from Saw. You could say he plays multiple characters in that universe.
I forgot about that too.
So I think Lee Winnell kind of ruins that.
Maybe he plays twins.
Oh, I mean, that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pablo and I have a podcast episode coming out with that we actually talked about Lee Winnell recently. The Bye Bye Man.
Bye Bye Man. Yes, I saw that on his IMDb credit. Yeah,
he's in that.
He's an actor in there, right?
He's the best part of that film.
Yeah, I heard that movie's terrible.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking through the IMDb and I was like, oh, these guys are covering that movie.
Well, just wait a few days and you will hear what Pablo and I have to say about the Bye Bye Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, then this is when the nurse is with Renee. Renee's kind of losing hope at this point. She doesn't know what else to do with Dalton. And then she finds the bloody demon handprint here. And
this was
would have been we're moving.
Okay, my thing is that I love that the nurse was going to do something. And she's like, I got it. And then she leaves. Thank you, girl. And then leaves. Sees the blood. And then she's like, nurse, come back. I would have been like, bitch, I thought you said you had it. Don't. Why you fuck you asking me?
When
I would have accused the nurse of doing something. No, I mean just to be like, what the fuck did you do to his sheets?
When I first saw this movie, when that thing was, before you saw the hand, what I thought it was his feet were dirty from walking outside.
Yeah,
I thought it was that. There's another movie where they Pet Cemetery.
Yes.
And and so I thought it was that at first. And then you see this hand with those long ass fingers. Yeah. That is terrifying.
That is really scary.
Just not knowing, you just see something. Your mind is not immediately going to be it's a demon.
And it's not a normal hand either. It's very elongated fingers. And
they're your son that's in a coma.
Okay, but that demon is having fun with this, and he likes a moment. Because that is a child's fingerprint, handprint. This is me playing finger paint. That.
Yeah.
It's a little too spot on. There should have been other claw marks around it, kind of, or
a hand mark around his foot or something like that on his sock.
Yeah, that's true.
Something. Yeah, but I was also this fucking demon needs to leave this sleeping boy alone. Okay, who's this demon? Michael Jackson? I don't think so. All right.
He's trying to get in that little boy's soul.
I mean,
right?
Oh, Jesus.
He's like, I hear little boy's pants are half off.
And he's just like, in the background. just
the whole
just
time
hiding in the dark.
Well, that's why he's the
Jamona. Jamona.
Oh, so good.
But
Problematic.
Oh my God, Michael Jackson's like death anniversary is coming up. in a few days.
Let's go.
I don't know.
Yay.
God.
I still remember. I think I was watching Transformers when I got the news that he died. I still remember that.
Oh, shit.
I came home to my apartment and my roommates. I walk in, and this was like before we had really all, as a society, collected that he was just like
fucking weirdo.
Won't get into that.
That he was doing stuff. Yeah.
But I walk into my apartment. I talked to someone, and I was walking home from work, and I walk into my apartment, and there are speakers pointed out of our apartment building into this giant complex, and the Thriller album is sitting on the sofa with a candle lit next to it with Man in the Mirror playing. And I walk in, and my roommate, she walks out, and she has tears in her eyes.
What?
And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Farrah Fawcett died. Why are we not talking about this?
Yeah.
okay.
For real.
Is there a celebrity you would possibly cry for if they pass away?
Go.
Pablo, go.
Yeah, I cried when the last Golden Girl died.
Oh, Betty
White.
Betty White, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy because
That
we
was
thought she was gonna live forever.
And I was one of those like 90 a day before she turned 100.
Yeah,
She died too soon, like too young. Yeah.
I cried when Robin Williams died.
Ooh, that was a strong one too.
It was a hard one, especially like growing up in San Francisco and everything. And he was like a staple around here. And Mrs. Doubtfire. My niece is the bartender at Bridges, the restaurant where the movie takes place. And it's like he was a big part of my like childhood and everything. So he was the one that really. That was the first celebrity that I've ever like cried over when they died. Especially it's so tragic. But.
Yeah.
Would you cry? Have you cried?
Mine, not that I can remember, but mine would be Sam Neill.
That would be, and he has cancer now.
I don't know.
I thought he had like skin cancer or something like that.
Well, let's hope not. Yeah, because Alan Grant in Jurassic Park, all time hero for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about
mine? Would be Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
I kind of discovered that Sam Raimi is, I think, separated from his wife, so it makes me like. That makes me so sad because I want to hug him.
Allegedly, we don't know this.
She's with another man, but still has his last name. So, that would be such it would affect me so much because he has so much to do with who I am as a person.
Yeah.
The one that I was close to crying, but I was super fucking depressed was Carrie Fisher. When Carrie Fisher died, I was so depressed. Like I was so like it caught me so off guard, and I think it caught everyone off guard. So yeah, that one.
I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but I was having dinner or something the other night, and then I said something about Anne Hesh disparagingly, and then they were like, "Paul,
She's
you know
dead.
she died," and I was like, "No, she's not."
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's like no.
I was like, "No, she's not." I was like, "Why are you defending her?"
Yeah. I will say, like, I did cry
I liked Anne Hesh.
When I found I was in college and I made my teacher stop a speech because she was like giving a speech she was giving a lecture and she was turning on the TV to go like do something, and I was like, you need to stop right now, because when Anna Nicole Smith died, I actually cried because her son had just died. She left a baby. She died, and I was like, this is the most tragic.
Watch the documentary. Watch the documentary on Netflix. Like, I mean, I loved Anna Nicole Smith, and it's such a tragic thing. And I remember I actually watched the Anna Nicole Smith show. Like,
me too.
And I loved it.
I still follow Bobby Trendy online.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, that one was really sad.
I fucking hate it because it's just like it catches you so off guard, and then you're just like,
right,
like,
Sorry, but they are not in the further. They are in great places.
We are never going to get through this.
Okay.
We will be. I love this. I love this, though, because I was not expecting to talk about Michael Jackson and Nicole Smith. Sam Raimi.
Robin
Sam Raimi being separated.
Allegedly.
We got some tea.
Yeah.
We're still in the first house.
Okay.
Sorry.
I will say, let me clear things up. The wife added me on Instagram, and she's with another man. So it's public. His daughter likes the picture, so it's public.
Are you the other man?
Okay,
I
it
wish.
could be like
She is so fun.
like gay couples where like sometimes they're with another guy for like a day.
Yeah, they may be open or poly.
That's true. It could be open. It's just like it's.
Or
I don't know,
they're divorced.
just like.
Or they're divorced and she kept his last name.
Yeah, that could
That's
be. It just made
very
me sad because
common.
I'm like, Sam Raimi might be by himself right now. I want to be his friend.
You give him a drawing.
That's true.
You'll be fine.
I mean, I don't know. I think he's fine.
Send him a dick pic, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Maybe he doesn't need to be alone.
Yeah.
Like I'll join you. I'll spoon you.
Send him one for his birthday.
Okay. I will.
Yeah. He's probably with Bruce Campbell and they're spooning all cutesy.
Oh.
I mean, anyways, so Josh comes home and this is when Renee's had it. She's like,
I do everything.
Okay, because Josh is like, he knows shit's going on at home and he's
ignoring it.
like he should be having an affair at this point because he's
that's
like,
what I thought.
It's
he's
better
like,
explain.
He's like, I'm busy grading papers. And the worst part is that he's not having an affair. He's just checking shit and doesn't want to go home.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to deal. He doesn't want to deal with this drama, or not the drama, the stress of it all. But she has to deal with it, and it's not helping her mental health. And he's avoiding it, so she's over it. She feels the house is haunted. He believes her, doesn't really believe her.
Yeah, at this point it's kind of unclear.
But then she throws a sheet at him with the handprint, and she's like, "Okay, we'll deal with this." And then the next day, she wakes up from a nightmare. And the baby at this point isn't. The crib is with her in her room. Josh is sleeping downstairs. She sent his ass to the couch. Good for you, girl. So there's this man walking back and forth from the balcony, and he ends up in her room.
Terrifying.
That scared the fuck out of me because I forgot he does that.
I'd throw up. I'd
Screams.
fucking throw up. I don't know what I would do. I just think. People talk about like fight or flight, fright or freeze. Like I think
fight or
my
flight or
response
freeze.
is mine's freeze. I just think I would be like, I don't know what I would just cry.
Mine's fart.
This
Fight,
one likes this motherfucker likes saying like, oh, I will throw hands and I will fight and defend myself. One time we saw a figure kind of coming our direction and he froze and then he got in the car and goes, damn, I'm such a pussy.
Carlos, like, I love you. I love you so much. But I'm gonna say you and I are in the same camp of freeze.
Can I say what happened to me the other night?
Yeah.
Okay, so my dogs now stay up on our loft area when we leave the house. We keep them upstairs. My cat, we keep the gate kind of lifted so she can go in and out, up and down however she wants because she's a good girl. So I got home. It's dark as fuck. I don't see nothing. When you come in the staircase, you turn right and the stairs go all the way up. So I usually come home and I go get the dogs, but it's dark. So I see a black figure coming down the stairs. And I was like, oh, it's probably the cat. But then it wasn't moving like the cat. So I start freaking out. I start screaming and jumping and I start running. And I thought it was like a mouse or something. When I turned on the light, it was just that they let one of their toys go and the toy just kept rolling down the stairs. And I couldn't, it's so big and I thought I was so scared. And then when I saw what
pussy.
It was, I felt so stupid.
He
when I saw
so much shit. He talks so much shit.
Well, if it was a fucking small animal, I wouldn't have known what to do.
Even if it was a person, you'd be like, ah.
But I felt so stupid when I saw it was just their fucking toy that looks like a fleshlight.
Like a fleshlight? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, Carlos. It just kept rolling.
Yeah. John's like, oh yeah, it's the cats.
And that wasn't blood that was being splat on the wall with the hole. That was something
wash your
else.
face. It's like, go wash your face, Carlos.
Yeah.
But at this point, she's fucking had it. She tells him, we need to leave this house, and he agrees, and we cut to them moving to a new house.
Which is like already better than half the male cast in a ghost story movie.
That's what I love about this. Mm-hmm.
We're halfway through the movie, and they do what we always tell people to do. Bitch,
they leave.
Yeah.
They leave.
I don't know with what money, but they do it.
They somehow.
They rent. They do make
They
it
rent
a
it,
point.
yeah.
I'm glad that they put for lease. I'm glad that they put that so that they weren't just like house hunters where it's like, I'm a candle maker and my husband reads scripts for a living. Our budget is $6 million.
Yeah, this isn't fun. What that would have been funny if all of a sudden it's just like a 3 minutes of like a House Hunters episode where they're like, what? Just random. And then they're like, we'll settle on this one.
Well, the thing is, it's like selling a house and buying another. It's not an easy process either. Like
our biggest criteria for looking at a house is that it's not haunted.
It's not haunted, and it won't make our other children go into a coma.
Well, I do love because I think this makes me think it's because Lee Whannell and James Wan are Australian, so I don't know how their teachers are paid. Like I don't know if they're well compensated.
Oh yeah, they're like,
so
our little wallabies of teachers make so much money. Oh yeah, wallabies.
It's like it's America. They get paid well. It's like no.
Yeah, because
you're
here
you're terrible, Papa.
Yeah. I love
it. We do meet his mom, Lorraine, where she sees a picture of him, and she's actually very surprised that he got a picture taken. So we're still getting hints at he doesn't like his picture taken and stuff. But then Renee's all by herself. She puts on a
Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris.
They're all
Chris is a sweetheart. Chris is a sweetheart.
Says hi. He's like that.
Hi.
He's bringing you more margaritas.
Yep.
I love that.
I love that. That's like energy.
Yeah.
Goals.
It's nice.
Yeah, she puts on a record player and it's a song playing. She takes out the trash.
It's a Lana Del Rey song that she's trying to copy.
Oh, it's it. Fuck, I can't think of one right now.
It's not Lana Del Rey. Shut up. It's like all summertime sadness.
It's summertime sadness.
Wait. One thing. I also heard a Lana Del Rey song recently where she's like, "Fuck me until I die" or something like that.
I get it. With Patrick Wilson, I would say the same.
But what I was gonna say, one thing that I do also respect about this movie is that she, we see this mother-in-law and like wife interaction, and she's like, "I know you think I'm crazy," and we get a mother. We later learn why, but in another movie, it would have been, everyone would be ganging up on her, being like, "You're crazy.
Yeah,
why are you making my
crazy.
son spend all this money?" Blah blah blah. But no, it's just a very tender moment of her being like, "No, I hear you. I support you. Like you need to do what's best for you."
And she says, "You do what you need to do to get through this." Right now, don't worry about it.
It makes me want to cry.
She's a good mother-in-law.
She's so sweet. And okay, one of the things though is that it makes me. I like that aspect, but it also made me think like, if you knew that it sounded familiar, why didn't you say something then? Like, why didn't you be like, "Hey, is this
I don't
happening?"
think it like registered for her yet. She's probably like,
okay,
my grandson has a medical issue, and then
but I have an idea about why it's not brought up. And I will get to that when we get to the scene.
Okay. Because I just feel like maybe she doesn't think it's serious.
Maybe she doesn't care.
Yeah.
She's like, "Bitch, I was hoping it would get you."
Yeah, I know. She's like, that little fucking living abortion. Fuck that little piece of shit.
I have a theory about, because it bothered me too, where it's like, okay, why, for what we know later, like, why aren't you opening your mouth? But I have a theory. About why she kept her mouth shut.
I'm excited. I love theories. So yeah, she's playing the record player, but then as she's taking out the trash, from the Tulip song starts to play.
Tick
and she looks over, and there's this little gray boy because he looks like he's black and white. Like
because he's like old timey.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's in color. He's just dancing in front of the record player. And I was like, what in the fucking Titanic did you come from?
That's the actor from fucking American Horror Story Circus. He plays the little like meat person.
Oh, is it really him?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Oh, well, he scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah,
he's fucking creepy. So
this fucking newsie. This is another. Remember I told you earlier in the episode I had a screenshot that I took. Mm-hmm. So we see him earlier than you think you do, and this was the thing that I'm like, I've seen this movie a million times. How have I never seen this? So she's going through when she's playing the record, before she goes outside and you hear the record scratch. She goes around and she's cleaning up Foster's like room, and then she goes through and then she goes into the laundry room. Clear as fucking day, he is standing in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, what
Paul,
the fuck?
Wait, Paul, everyone knows that. You guys, everyone knows.
I didn't know that.
Really?
Well, I was also watching it on my phone.
Pablo, you didn't. Pablo, you didn't. So
I did.
Up.
Yeah. It was like the first thing you see. Like, there's a kid there.
But no. Okay. We have two other people here that did not notice that. I never noticed it.
Huh. I knew about it, but I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's definitely
because it's super subtle.
It's super quick and you miss it.
They do that a lot in this film, and you see it in the credits. I think in the opening cards, like he's like somewhere in it, like because then like the
but
demon
just that,
face.
Pablo, all it was that particular scene I had never noticed before, and I thought it was. I had seen it so many times, and I try to pay attention to small things like that. So like that was actually exciting for me on this watch of seeing something, catching something that I had never seen before.
He looks like he's hanging there, like the coat next to it. It just looks like another coat. He blends especially since he's like fucking old timey looking.
Old motherfucking bitch.
Yeah, I knew of it. I forgot about that too. Because I wasn't paying attention to it this time.
Yeah. But then when the music changes and she looks in the window and he's like doing a TikTok dance.
Yeah, with the records. But then she kind of goes behind the wall to the next window and he's gone. Well, he's gone.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Did you guys feel like the lighting when she was outside, there was some sort of weird saturation?
Mm-hmm.
When she was outside, it felt very weird.
It felt like it felt like the feeling of the atmosphere got very eerie and dreadful the minute that kid was in the house.
Yeah.
Well, so you can always tell when something is when the ghosts are around and they're not, because the movie constantly changes into that saturation when ghosts are around, and then when they're not around, it is like really bright colors, and even like the shade and the shadows change to highlight like when the ghosts are gonna be. Like, so the way I take it is when you hear a sound and they're not in that like weird color gradient saturation thing, it's not a ghost. It's a house sound. When you do hear a sound and that's in that color gradient, whatever shit, that's a ghost sound. Like I felt like he was doing that on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be a technique that definitely was on purpose. Because then later in the movie, once we know what's happening, everything seems very bluish. Kind of everything feels desaturated.
But with that particular shot though, there's something, and I think maybe it was really sunny that day, because I totally get what you're saying. You're totally right, Pablo. That it, like, whenever there's a ghost, there's that he plays with like how the colors are muted, saturation, and everything. But just that particular shot when she's outside, it was just different, and I feel like maybe it was really bright outside, and the filter that they tried to put on it,
probably
looked different than in other scenes where they make that. But maybe I'm crazy, and
I also had the thought in mind that when he did that was because they moved to a new house, but they're still not safe, and this is my way of showing it, still showing that sad look to this movie, it's kind of telling you like they're still not really safe. There's still something going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, she goes through the house, and then there's one part where he just runs by her laughing, and that scared the fuck. I actually went, oh, that's the part when, oh shit, I forgot that little kid I would have punched. I don't know. Bow.
Yeah, I mean that one because you just got surprised.
Yeah,
sure,
when
Carlos.
he jumps,
Sure.
Yeah, Carlos, Carlos, you're kidding. You're running in.
He's like, my cat lost a toy, and I was so scared. But if a kid would have come out of me, I would have punched it. We love you.
And that's the scene that makes me think of The Conjuring, because in The Conjuring there's a little girl that jumps out. I think it's a little girl that jumps out.
Yeah, it's a hide and seek,
wardrobe.
right? When they're playing
the
Marco Polo.
Hide and clap.
Hide and
Hide and clap. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. But just that little kid jumping out of the wardrobe and just being like, I'm a ghost. I'm a ghost. I'm around. And the mom just being there.
I felt so bad for her because she's like, what the fuck? And she starts crying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm like,
She's
oh
like,
my
my
God.
husband's going to be so pissed.
He's like, oh my god, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna explain
How
it
the
to
fuck
him?
do we keep moving to these haunted houses? What is up with this state?
Yeah.
What is up with this real estate market?
I just
We need
imagine
to
her-
stop using Marcy at fucking Remax.
I just imagine him like coming back home from a stressful day, and she's like, "Hey, baby, remember how like I said it was like ghosts and stuff, like that whole crazy thing? Yeah, hey, that's still kind of happening." And he's just like,
Guess
So, like,
what?
Don't be mad. I just
Right.
need to tell you something.
But in all seriousness, like her starting to cry and like get in the fetal position, I wanted to give her a hug because
Yeah.
I'm like, these little fuckers are fucking with you now, and like that's not cool, though.
"No, it's not. It's fucked up."
I love Rose Byrne so much. This is the same woman that was in Bridesmaids.
Yes!
That was in
X-Men.
Neighbors. She
has range.
Yeah, she was in X-Men,
Yeah,
and
she
she was
has
in
range.
episode
Days
2.
of Future Past and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
She
she was in
is-
episode 2 of Star Wars too.
So good.
She
is
was
so
like
good.
super busy in this time, late 2000s, early 2010s. She was
She
like
was getting
in
that bread.
every
It's fun.
single fucking film.
It's so funny because I recently, like literally 2 weeks ago, watched Bridesmaids, and she plays like this rich bougie friend that's like,
I
trying to
love
win
her
the
in
bride
Bridesmaid.
over.
I
And it's
love
so
her in
funny.
Bridesmaid. She's so good.
You also need to, and then she's also so down too because she's in Neighbors as well. She has another TV show coming out with Seth Rogen, but Neighbors, I really fucking love that. I
haven't
love
seen
dirty
that.
comedies. It's
Yeah.
really good. It's Zac Efron just
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Zac
She's-
Efron.
play-
It's like at
play
its
your-
peak, right? Yeah.
play your little sound
Oh,
that you.
She's great. She's a great actress. I want to see her in a lot more things.
Mm-hmm. But Josh comes home with her and a pastor, and the mom's there too.
And I love that he comes in and he's like, "I think that my wife alone with the pastor. I think this is a
Isn't this
setup
a
for a joke."
Yeah.
Yeah.
A man walks in. A man walks in with his wife and a priest.
Yeah.
Or
They
something.
tag teams.
Call
Okay.
it the Holy Trinity.
Okay.
Oh
but,
my god.
okay, but this would actually really piss me off because I'm like, okay, we moved.
Mm-hmm.
We just signed a lease to a new house. We don't know if they sold the other house or they just kind of
Yeah, no.
left it there because now I'm like, so we could have just stayed in the house that we bought.
Well, if someone would have spoke up earlier, they could have just stayed in the house.
I would have been like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I
for
just walk
sure.
in, see the priest. I was cheating on you. I was cheating on you, actually. So see ya. Bye. Figure it out by yourself.
Yeah.
Also,
right.
Carlos, I caught that shade. If someone would have spoken up earlier, we could have stayed. I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
So, mommy dearest decides to speak up now.
Actually, I do the whole time.
Well, she starts explaining Josh's backstory. How not Josh's. Sorry, she had a nightmare.
That doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has the nightmare that she kept seeing.
Well, she went through the house.
yeah.
Everybody was asleep, but when she went into Dalton's room, there was a figure at the corner saying, "What do you want?" And it points over at Dalton, which I do love the way he's set up there with the silhouette pointing with the long fingers because it
That's
looks
really
very like
spooky.
Freddy Krueger. It looks like Freddy to me.
Spooky.
But my
yeah.
thing, this is the part where I was saying that I hate the exposition of because they're showing us what's happening And I understand her explaining it, but instead of opening the door fully and seeing him kind of hidden in the background or something, she explains he was there in the corner, and it's like opens the door and he's there, and it's like, well, you kind of just ruined the fucking surprise.
The scare.
Yeah. And I'm like, you could have just explained it.
But I will say, it led to a better, one of the best jump scares in cinematic history, probably. With the fucking demon right behind his sexy ass, and talking about wow.
And I love how well positioned it is too,
and he's
because
just there drooling.
But what I love is that it's obviously placed in the background with the painting that's green, so it's completely opposite of red, so it makes him stand out even more. Mm-hmm. And since it's a really dark green, his black body blends in with that painting, so it's literally just a face, and it's so fucking horrifying.
I feel like it's not the lipstick demon, but it's every single one of us gay guys in the background thirsting over Patrick Wilson, just like once we see him, and we're like, we look jealous. Like that. I know, right? No, we're like, we're afraid because it's reflecting us back to us.
We're the demons.
Yeah, exactly.
And the mom is like a super Christian woman who sees it and goes,
Pride Month.
Pride Month.
It's like that. Have you guys seen on Twitter like the Pride Month thing that it's like
demon?
The demon.
Pride demon. Yeah.
It's this one. It's this movie.
God.
But sorry, my cat keeps jumping into my lap.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was like, oh.
He's a little gay guy too. He wants to talk about Patrick Wilson. Yep. What do you want to say?
Exactly.
He's so cute.
He feels very strong about Patrick. I love that.
Oh yeah. Dixon's a faggot. His name is Dixon.
But then something happens in Dalton's room where they run into it, and it looked like it got raided by room raiders. So I was like, damn, this kid ended up on MTV already.
Yeah, because I think you see her crashing. I think it's just shit happening.
You hear the noises, yeah.
So we cut to meeting Specs and Tucker, and they kind of start to set things up. Tucker has this UV light changing thing that's really cool.
It's like different filters in the camera, which is it's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those like little toy camera from the 80s.
I'm gonna ask these little babies over here. Do you know what that toy? You know what?
Yes.
That
it's for different sceneries.
I had one of Jurassic Park.
Okay, good.
I just had one that was like New York, San Francisco, like just a basic like. I was in Puerto Rico, so that's all we got.
Yeah, we had those toys.
I had one that was like underwater, like sea, like.
Oh
so
you got me fucked up.
There'd be like a shark. It was really fucking scary.
That's horrifying.
It was so cool. What were they called?
That's what I don't remember their names.
I can find it.
I used to have a couple of them. They're cool.
Let me close my porn.
Something finder.
John,
Jesus.
Fine.
This is a PG-13 podcast.
Oh no, this is X-rated right now. Viewmaster 3D viewer.
Viewmaster.
Those are really cool.
What the fuck? There's a Shrek one?
I love though the shade. So we meet Specs and Tucker, and they're supposed to be like the comedic relief, and they do a good job.
Yeah.
I think that was smart to bring them in because we do need. This movie is not act 1, 2, 3. This is technically a 4-act movie.
Yeah.
I look at it, and like at this point we need some sort of levity, and I do think the shade that they throw at each other, it's so good where
they're one-upping each other.
He's like, it's basically a modified toy. And then Tucker turns and looks at him with like dagger eyes.
Oh God, he's not into it.
I will say, do you think this? There's a scare here with like twins. It reminded me kind of like of The Shining, but like the twins grew up.
Yeah,
and now they're creepier.
I think
it could be. It could be like a nod.
Yeah,
I do think there's a lot of nods to like The Shining, The Exorcist. Like I think those two are the biggest ones. I know the Amityville Horror. I don't know it as well as I know.
I don't really think it has a lot. I think that I mean even the others might have a little bit of like a nod to the others, like taking a little bit of, like belief or not belief, but influence. I should say.
The Amityville, was that the one with the shooting?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like
from the 70s.
Yeah, so then, because later there's a family that gets shot down by a member, and I felt like that was the nod for Amityville in the further.
The Exorcist, I get the most of, even from the title card to they go to the hospital.
The Exorcist.
There's just a
100%.
lot of.
Bro,
they're also like afraid to go to Dalton's room.
Well,
so
the,
it's like a whole...
the hospital in the second movie, the way the hallway is set up, it's literally Exorcist 3 when the lady comes out with the scissors.
Yeah, I see.
It's I was like, that's spot on.
Yeah. So I mean, it's probably like an amalgamation of like all these horror movies that they grew up watching.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Also, I think of The Exorcist when she's just in the house and she's looking upstairs and she's hearing things and everything too, and like when Chris McNeil is looking up and she's hearing all this stuff. There's a movie
too.
Yeah.
So sorry. So we meet Elise Queen. She walks through the house. She goes over to Dalton's room, and she looks up at the ceiling and she sees something, but we don't see it because it's super dark. And I'm like, what ceiling is so dark that you can't see past the fan?
It's those triangle ones where it's like you can't see shit.
It's like, God damn.
But she gets to work.
One where the demon is fucking in the shadow, just like not.
Yeah.
And she gets to work. She's like, black eyes, black. My thing, okay, she gets a little too crazy describing everything.
Well, the guy's like,
I just ready for her to be like, big black dick.
Low hangers, hairy low hangers.
She's like,
uncircumcised.
Right.
Red tip. Really, really red tip.
Oh my God. Too much, John.
Skinny shaft, really skinny shafts.
Really skinny, but base thick as fuck. Rocket shape.
Yeah.
Seems to get fisted every weekend.
Oh. But I do like that he's like, slow down, slow. And then what he draws is so fucking creepy too.
Yeah.
Also, okay, that's a little unrealistic. How quick, like, is he a composite? Like, art, like all of that, just because he also has, you see him like switch out pencils. He has different colored pencils. So you see him like switching them out too.
You do hear him say that is his job, like his main job. That because he's like, this is the most important part of the job, and he's like, well, part of it. Also, or debatable.
He's writing like one word per page. I'm like,
oh my God, I was like, what a
write
waste
smaller.
of page. What a waste of paper.
When you write, that's when you write fast. Maybe bigger is better. I don't know. Bigger's always better, right?
When you write fast,
if you know how to use it, it depends.
Okay.
But
shut up, Carlos. Bigger's better if you only know how to use it.
Go ahead, pause.
Oh, I was nothing. That's all. I was just gonna say, this is where he's drawing, but then the handwriting comes in
later.
Later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is just her describing the demon that she immediately sees.
Oh, the handwriting's when they're doing the seance. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see the demon. Yeah.
And the mom's not about it too. She's
hell no.
She's like turning on the lights.
But so this is the part of the movie where she's like, I find this very iconic. I remember in theaters, also it was in the trailers, I was shook when she was like, it's not the house, it's your son. And I was like,
your son is haunted. Yeah.
No fucking way.
And it's a cool twist.
It's a cool twist.
That is cool twist.
I remember seeing it in the trailer. That made me want to go see the movie. And then seeing it in the movie for the first time, I was like,
but okay.
It felt like one of those Mexican soap operas, like, she's cheating? Like, yeah.
So which one? I can't remember the Paranormal Activity movies, but aren't one of the Paranormal Activity movies is like the family's haunted? And it's like late, like they move houses.
All of them.
I forgot.
That's the story of it, right? Like, it's a family curse, and the demon is after the family.
Okay. Yeah, because I was trying to say I don't know which one like kind of did it first.
It's all Toby's fault.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
the whole thing. Yeah, because the demonologist shows up and he's like, I should not be here. And,
peace out.
And he's like, the whole thing is Katie is the one who's haunted, and like it doesn't matter where you go,
it'll always follow you.
Gonna follow you.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I was like, when I saw the twist, I was like, I don't know if I've seen this twist before, or if it was just like this is where it kind of originated from.
Yeah.
Oh no! I mean, Paranormal Activity came first.
Yeah.
So technically, yeah. But I don't know. There's something about at least saying that line.
No, yeah.
That's kind of like, oh.
And it's also because we get that comedy relief between Tucker and the Lee Winnell's character. I forgot his name. Specs, right?
Specs and Tucker, yeah.
And then it immediately goes to shit when Tucker's like, you need to call her right now. And then she comes in and immediately is like, there's a fucking demon up there. Yeah. And it's like, it just goes down. It's just going downhill.
Yeah,
and
for real.
There's no breathing room. You're just like, oh, fuck. Shit's happening left and right.
Yeah, but then there's another funny cut because, okay, so she explains the astral projecting and the further. And I wrote it down what she says because it's very interesting what she says. So she says that the further is a world far beyond our own, yet it's all around us, a place without time as we know it. It's a dark realm filled with the tortured souls of the dead, a place not meant for the living. That's where Dalton is. And the problem is that his astral body's gone and he's just left with a physical body, an empty vessel. And there are entities that know that because they can smell it and that they're gathered around him. Gotcha. Which is like... Bro,
it's a lot of information. I've astral projected before. What have I told you?
Where?
Yeah, one time I came really hard and I hit myself in the eye, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened?"
Oh,
it was,
my God!
I was watching myself. It was really weird.
You've only done that once.
I mean, that I know of. I thought I was flying the whole time. I thought I was a superhero.
I had a friend that said he kept astral projecting, and he was like, "I saw you sleeping, bro," and I was like, okay, I need to move out.
So weird.
You're like, yeah, that's because you smoke meth.
Right. Well, when I have diarrhea, I call it asshole projecting.
You see yourself in pain.
Right. I'm like, I'm leaving my soul's leaving my body. Oh.
Leave this body. Leave this empty vessel.
Oh, enchiladas.
and then his butthole kind of looks like John and Carlos's mics.
Oh.
Exactly. Thank you.
But she basically says that since Dalton thought these were dreams, he kind of was like Dora the Explorer and just kept going.
Yeah,
and
he wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid.
He wasn't afraid, and now he pretty much fucked himself over.
He's lost.
So they need to go find him. And this is when Josh is like, "You're crazy.
This is
leave us alone." Yeah, and
this is where I believe like him because he's kind of because even me, I was like in the real life setting, I feel like this happens where it's like they kind of use it to exploit people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because
100%.
I mean, obviously, I don't believe in none of that. So it's like you can easily manipulate a family that's grieving. And
just like the Warrens did.
Exactly.
Also, I love that he throws out her rate of $600, and then I was taken out of it for a minute because there was part of me that's like, okay, they just moved.
Yeah.
They just bought a house. Like, what if they were like, can we do a payment plan? Or do we have to pay this money like up front? Or what's the invoicing like? Or because is she gonna be like, oh, never mind. Then fuck Dalton.
Yeah, because
I'm out here.
She's like, cash only, no Venmo, no Cash App, no checks. This is all under the table. Bye.
If you're gonna make a check, make it out to cash.
Yeah.
Because I thought she was doing a favor for the mom. Because then the mom also then explains to Josh
that they were friends, right?
They were friends, and that he went through this, and that he pretty much his sperm passed it down to Dalton or the eggs,
also,
and they made Dalton.
Also, I'm curious, like, what's their business model? Like, do they do this a lot?
Right.
I would. It's like there wouldn't be any business like reliable enough to do it.
How many fucking kids have bad parents that are not keeping them out of the further?
Well, the sequel. In the sequel, it ends with Elise, spoiler, going to another family. And I was like, okay, so she's still doing, even in the afterlife, she's still doing this. So I guess they have a lot of business. Oh, and it's with Jenna Ortega as a little kid.
Really?
Yeah, I was like very surprised.
It's Jenna Ortega. I mean, it could also be she's just doing the family a favor because she's known the family and she knows them, right?
That's what I thought. That's totally what I thought until he throws out a very specific number of $600.
Yeah.
You see, I thought he was joking.
Well, it could be. It could be taken as a joke as well because he's kind of like, I know how this goes. You come in, you say something's wrong. Here's $600, and it's like it could come off as a joke.
There was a deleted scene where Lin Shaye's like, "Well, $600 is a deal."
It's like that was a starting pay, but since there's an actual demon,
she's like, "That's my consultation
$1,200
fee. That's my day rate, and everyone knows this takes about 50 days."
And he's like, "Fuck me, you really crazy or something's happening?"
He's like, "I have to grade more papers."
It's like, did you even like Dalton that much?
And he's like, "I'm a fucking teacher."
For real. I have to buy my own supplies for my students. Yeah. Fuck this.
Just gonna have to start selling.
And I just had to pay first and last for this fucking house.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know how they moved. I was like, they got money saved up or something.
Guess. Well, yeah, I guess.
And then they got Dalton's medical
bills. This
bills.
movie also does a lot of time skips.
Then let's give at least benefit of the doubt that she was going to do it for free.
Yeah, let's say
he
that.
Was making
she seems
comment.
Cool. She seems cool.
Yeah.
So she's like, homie, I got you. I know your mama. We explored back in college. We good. And now
your mom let me go further back in college.
And she's like, I'm just really confident that, Josh, you're not going to do anything to fuck me over.
Yeah, there you go.
You're not going to do anything whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. So he's then in Dalton's room crying because
he sees the paintings that he's like, I'm flying.
Okay, I have an issue with the fucking drawings on the wall. Y'all did not notice those when you put those up because Dalton didn't put those up.
Well, apparently he's never home. He doesn't care about his fucking family.
Yeah,
so who put up the paintings?
Well, Mom did.
The mom.
And
she didn't see that?
She put up the scary paintings too, and the ones that say, "I watch myself sleep at night. I fly away."
She's a supportive mom. She's like, okay, this is weird, but
there's
very
one
cute.
like of a fucking demon down the hallway. And I was like, ma'am.
That's really fucked up.
Right.
I would have been questioning that kid.
But anyway.
This is where he cries and he starts believing like, fuck it, let's do this.
Well, it's a kind of a funny cut because it's like, I didn't want Elise, but then Elise is there. The next cut, she's there.
Yeah, right. And then she's there. They're setting up. They're doing the whole entire thing. And they're getting the seance ready, right?
Yeah. And this is where she's like, okay, we're going to get ready. And then she straps on a gas mask.
Which I don't know how to feel about that still.
I was kind of like, that's some kinky ass shit. What's happening here?
Shut the fuck up. I was like, I've literally seen this at Mr. S, which is our gay kink leather store here in San Francisco. I was like, I've seen this.
I thought that made me think of in college. I never did one of those because they freaked me out. But people would smoke pot. It was like a gas mask.
Oh yeah.
With the bong
you would hook up to that.
Yeah.
And I guess watching it on multiple watches, it's because that she whispers, and I guess the sound is supposed to. None of this makes sense.
It goes directly to his headphones.
That would make sense.
What would work? A microphone.
Yeah.
You know what else would work? Just talking.
Exactly. Everyone can hear you.
Yeah.
They never explain why she does it. They're just kind of like, it's just, this looks creepy. Let's just put it on.
It's a little silly
a
to me, but
thought I had was maybe because there's parts where she switches through it being her voice and Dalton's voice. Maybe James Wan did that so that it wasn't confusing for when she's talking of her asking the questions and then his responses, so that she doesn't have to do some sort of weird baby voice and then her voice and baby voice, and maybe that would take people out of it. That's the only thing I could think of.
Okay,
that makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Because at first I was like,
silly.
What are we going to Chernobyl Diaries?
Yeah, it looks a little crazy.
Chernobyl Diaries.
But they start doing the seance. This is when he's writing for her, saying, help me, fuck me, whatever. And then room goes crazy. Demons, ghosts, whatever, start appearing everywhere.
And then you see that Dalton's
and
missing.
then Dalton's up. And he's chops the table.
And everyone goes flying, which this part takes me out. I don't like this part. I hate that it kind of like the whole goes superhero.
The whole movie is very serious, and then we get like this action sequence. It's like, it's not that scary. They're just going crazy in the room.
Yeah, he's just throwing everyone around.
I do like the reveal afterwards that the demon was the one holding him, kind of puppeting him around the room, doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That is the payoff. I mean, it is kind of a cool image of seeing the little kid whose like eyes are closed, then he takes his hand and he puts it on the table and they fly. Boom. Just from it was just cool. I guess. It was also stupid. Awesome.
Right. No, I like that. I thought it was fun. It's like in line with everything. It's very like there's slight camp to it.
Yeah, like over the top.
My favorite is the guy that keeps fucking with Renee. He goes up to her like, "What up, baby?" And then Patrick Wilson does not believe it, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Well, because Patrick Wilson maybe wants to watch. He's like, "Hey, baby, hey, Renee."
Right. He's like, "Renee, you know, I always had my cuckold fantasy."
So this is where like they look back at the tape and they're like, "Hey, look at this one frame," and it shows the demon.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's just standing, but he's kind of like slaying.
He's
that
literally,
a
yeah. He's like in the boots like, with the fur, whole club looking at her. Like he's got the whole thing. He's got the whole thing.
That demon got some slaying on powers, because even later when he's working on the nails, I'm like, yes, bitch.
Yes. That demon is gay. That is a gay ass demon that is in the best way.
That's why I want to cover this Pride Month.
I'm going to say something. You guys tell me if it's too far, but do you think this is what conservatives think happens to kids? They're like, you see? It's a gay demon. He's controlling the kid.
Gay demon's gay agenda. This is all allegory for the gay agenda.
I mean, in your state.
That's true here, especially.
In California, we just do drag readings and everyone loves it.
Actually, to dispel a little bit of a myth, California is very liberal, but honestly, you get an hour outside of San Francisco, you get an hour outside of LA. A lot of California is very conservative.
Can be very conservative.
It's now that you say that, my husband and I were looking to go on a vacation. And he knows how I feel about everything that's happening, how I'm kind of low-key scared of stuff happening. Yeah. And we were Googling what are the top 10 safest cities to be gay in and go vacation. And San Francisco was number 1. Yeah. So we might be going to San Francisco soon.
You better, bitch. You better. You fucking better. We will hang out, take you out, let you see fucking John. Nice. You better come too.
Oh my God, yes.
I am fortunate. I think I'm going to be at a cruise. They don't know when they're going, but I'm going on a cruise. So.
He also babysits the dogs.
Yeah.
I love how he's like, they don't know when they're going, but I'll definitely be on a cruise. Because he doesn't want to come and meet us. He's like, fuck these two guys.
But I would love to meet you guys if we go.
With you guys.
Yeah.
No, please. You totally should. We need to find some sort of way to do like a union. I was going to say reunion.
That would be so fun. Would be cool. Imagine all of us in this
one
room.
Well, Pablo and I have been talking for a long time about going. We want to start going to horror conventions and stuff, but there are none in California.
There's like one in like LA.
One.
Yeah, you guys have no, you guys.
What did they say?
It's happening this weekend. Is it Monster Palooza?
I think it is Monster Palooza.
It's in Pasadena. I think it's Pasadena. It's in Pasadena.
Yeah, Pasadena's where they
are. In LA. Yeah, they're all like in LA, and we're in NorCal, not SoCal.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything.
Well, all right, if you guys come in October, David Arquette and Devin Sawa are gonna be here in Tampa at Spookala in October. And Devin Sawa is a bro for the LGBT community. Oh, yeah. So,
except if you thirst over him too much.
So's David Arquette, because his sister was trans.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And I the rumors had the Screamcast. They're trying to get the Screamcast over here again. So, Matthew Lillard, just saying.
All right.
We'll talk about that off mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. Where were we? We're always forgetting.
So, the demon was slain.
This demon was slain, and then this is when Lorraine actually does. It wasn't earlier. It was now that she tells Josh his backstory of how he can astral project as well.
Who is watching the kids?
The grandpa. Sleeping on the couch.
There's no grandpa. There's no grandpa because we saw in Insidious Chapter 2, she's a single mom.
Oh,
she is.
damn.
It's just Josh.
Grandpa.
That's irresponsible.
There's a thing
Maybe she got
called
remarried.
babysitters. Like people can,
God,
maybe
last minute.
Or it could have been someone like her mom, her parents.
So I think they heard about the whole this is something people say are like, where the fuck were the other two? And I think the next movie they had a babysitter named Jessica.
Yeah, because they need babysitters are a thing. Babysitters didn't just start a year after this movie came out.
Yeah,
but it's just that they don't say nothing.
But they don't say anything because they make a point to say, where are the two children? Oh, they're with Lorraine. And then later, Lorraine comes over, and that's why I'm like, okay.
Maybe they're in the car.
Don't worry, I rolled down the window.
They're
Suck
in the car.
freaking out.
God, I gave each one of them a donut. They're fine.
My stepdad used to do that with me and my little brother, where he'd go and leave us in the car with the window rolled down. My mom got so pissed.
That's so funny. Such a dad thing to do.
I know. But okay, so here's my I made it sound like it was this giant theory. I think the reason Lorraine has been holding off of even really acknowledging oh, this could be similar is because they suppressed Josh's
memory.
Yes. And I think in her mind, let's bring Elise in. Let's try to still fix this without telling Josh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we will. And now they need someone to go. But in all actuality, they know he can astral project. They need someone to go get him.
So
I think
him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were I think Lorraine and Elise just wanted as much time or to go about every other to
exhaust every other
option.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
We're just okay, fine, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
You're actually the chosen one.
And then they show the pictures of him as a kid, and this is where we meet more of the bride in black, and she keeps getting closer and closer to him in every picture.
Spooky.
Yeah,
it's fucking scary. I don't like her. So then since Josh
I don't like her.
I don't like that bitch. Oh my god, you have a black wedding dress. Where'd you get it? That's the ugliest fucking dress I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
it's vintage. It was my mom's from the 80s.
The 1880s.
Yeah.
He goes to go, and he just goes into the further. He's like, okay, I can do it. Let's do it. So he goes in.
And he's doubting himself. I told you I can't do it, but he's kind of speaking in echo.
And the camera changes and the lighting
changes. It's all blue.
Mm-hmm.
But let's also give him a little bit of credit to where while he previously he had flipped out and been I moved houses for you. This is bullshit. Blah blah blah. At least this time he's told this story and he's he listens and he's okay, let's try it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's do it. So at least he jumps into it, even if he's okay, how I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah.
He's at least still open.
Because he loves his son, he loves his family. He's I'll do whatever it takes. I'll fucking go to sleep if it means I'll get my kid.
It's okay, fine, I guess.
Yeah, he's
a supportive
right.
father.
Yeah.
Unlike Mika.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mika. I will say this shot of Lin Shaye being okay, have my voice be your guide, and then she turns around and just fades away is so fucking funny to me because it just reminds me of the gif of the kid piecing out and just disappearing out of existence.
Oh yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah.
But he ends up at the old house where they were originally living in, and I was like, okay,
it's like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sees all these random ghosts around the house, or sees creepy ones that are sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
And then one of them kills all three of them, and they all got shot up, and then they show up.
Which, like, I want to know the backstory there.
Yeah.
I like to know what happens in that world.
I feel like he was maybe trying to have an expanded universe.
Yeah.
Like maybe the
Conjuring took off.
Mm-hmm.
But I want like a backstory like a la like 13 Ghosts.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
like,
that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. That would be
like
awesome.
knowing who these like people are. Like, but yeah, you're right. He could have been thinking this is gonna be I guess becomes an expanded universe, but they could have done a lot more. I mean, if this would prevent us from getting The Nun, I would have been very happy.
Yeah. The Nun.
And that's the thing. I feel
or the Curse of Liar or Curse of
La Llorona.
La Llorona.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Oh, God.
Little Carlos though.
Little
Rest in
Carlos. But do you think these ghosts have sex in that realm? And does it sound like like it's all echoey and they're moaning and shit, or
that's what ectoplasm is. That's what ectoplasm is.
Ghosts come.
Ectogism.
Exorcism. Okay.
Oh
I was like,
God.
that's what threw me off.
It's
I was like,
interesting because it's like they don't really move. The action happens, and then they're in another position. So I'm pretty sure like they fuck, and then you're just like,
how would ghosts fuck? Because if they're like translucent, like there's no like friction. So
unless you're a ghost, so like the friction, because if it's a mass minus friction minus mass,
okay,
and no friction.
If it's like American Horror Story, then you can fuck.
Yeah, I agree. But I also feel, and like if you look at all of this, a lot of the things that the ghosts do, a lot of the actions and stuff, are one of two things. They're based off of how they died in real life, and then the other one is how they're trying to get a life, right? Like going closer and closer and closer to Dalton. Yeah. So it is my scientific opinion that ghosts do not actually worry about having sexual relationships. They just want to repeat their deaths or go back to becoming part of the living.
You're done.
I think being a ghost is boring then.
Duh.
I mean, yeah.
You're dead.
Walking.
Yeah.
You're just floating around, just minding your business.
Also, you gotta be fly when you die, because if you die in some dusty clothes, you done.
Oh my God.
You're
right?
like, damn it, I should have worn
Fuck.
black today.
You die in your bata and shit.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. Fucking you die on the toilet, then the whole entire
you
time
die mid. I was gonna
people
say
walk in
you
on
die
you.
mid.
Winnie the Pooh it.
Yeah. All they see is this.
Oh my God.
Or you're in a bat, or you just got out of the shower, but you're cold, and so instead of putting it around your waist, you actually put it up here, and then you're like, fuck.
You're like that. Fuck, damn it.
Right. Or you're like some fucking drunk person who dies like in their throw up.
Oh, disgusting.
Yeah.
That would have been my ghost in my early 20s.
I think I'd go Winnie the Pooh. Just Winnie the Pooh it. Fuck it.
Okay. There are two types of people in the world. People will call it Winnie the Poohing it, and the other people call it Donald Ducking it.
Oh, that's a good one. Donald Ducking it.
I was
That's
wondering
pretty
what Winnie the Poohing was, because I call it Donald Ducking, and I was like, does that mean he died on the taking a crap? Like, is that what he's trying to tell us?
Pooh?
Yeah.
He died while watching Honey and Blood or whatever.
Blood and honey.
Well,
He
you know
died
what?
eating honey.
You call it Donald Duck and you call it Winnie the Pooh. I'm gonna call it Squidwarding.
Squidwarding.
Or Squidward.
Squidward.
I was like, squirt what?
Squirt?
Squirt working? I love squirt working.
So going back to Insidious.
I love that we just take a derail talking about ghosts having sex. Only the Horror Daddies with Scared Gay.
Oh,
So Josh ends up finding the red door in the attic, which won't make sense with earlier when Dalton looked into the darkness of the attic. That's where the door was.
Yeah.
And coming July 25th, Insidious 5, the red door.
I can't wait.
I'm so
Is
excited.
it July 25th?
I'm
I
super
thought it was
excited.
July 7th.
Super
Is
excited.
it?
I think it's the 7th. I think it's 7th.
Oh, then they moved it up. I could have sworn they said the 25th.
Paul, we better go.
So, and he ends up fighting the man that keeps fucking with Renee. So he ends up fighting him, but he finds his power because he's alive and the man is not.
And he's strong.
Yeah.
You're strong, but I think that's his kink. It's like, please tell me I'm strong and I'll be stronger.
I'll tell him all day.
Really?
Every day.
I'll tell him anything. I'll tell him he's my king.
I'll tell him, no, I swear to God, your son really isn't in a coma. This isn't real. Fuck me harder.
He's fighting. He's
He's going to get called daddy, king, slut shame me, spit, whatever you want.
Papi chulo, love bagel. Yeah, do it all.
I want you to step on my neck, kill me, come in my face, and just bury my body.
Because then when you're a ghost, that is constantly what's happening over and over again.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh, okay. Sounds
Especially
fun.
American Horror Story rules. You die and your hell keeps just, going and going and repeating.
You know how like in The Sixth Sense where there's that like kid that like died because there was the gunshot in the back of his head?
That's going to be...
but it's just me with a facial.
But it's Patrick Wilson's facial specifically.
Just him.
and I get the sense that there's a lot of like velocity, like, and a lot of like horsepower behind his emissions.
So your eye is all red and fucked up and shit.
The back of your head is
out.
blown out, but instead of blood, it's just semen.
It's just cum. Just dripping. It smells like bleach. It's just dripping.
Wow. That's pretty
God.
great.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson can literally do anything.
Wow.
Call me your slave.
Wow. What a lucky man.
Colonize me, papi chulo. Colonize me.
But he goes through the
Watching
red door.
Hard Candy was very uncomfortable.
That was intense. Yeah, that's such a good film with him. You guys have seen it, right? With him and Elliot Page. Get to it now. It's really fucking intense.
Don't watch it if you're sexually attracted to Patrick Wilson. I will say.
Oh yes, I've heard that story's like super fucked up.
It's a great film. It's a great film. Yeah,
it's a great film, but just do not. That film, you will not be attracted to Patrick Wilson
because he's like a weirdo, right? Or he's like a.
He's. I don't.
You'll just watch it.
Yeah, I've heard about that movie before.
He's in the McDonald's movie.
I'm sorry.
Founder.
I just can't with movies like that about McDonald's. I don't give a fuck about McDonald's.
I know. I get you.
It's like air. Like I don't care, but whatever.
Yeah, he goes through the red door. It's this really creepy, like red house. This demon has taste.
Aesthetic as fuck.
Yeah,
that's a gay demon.
Dalton. Yeah, literally, because he finds
he's
Dalton.
a flamer.
That demon's like they call me the lipstick demon, but you can call me, I don't know, some drag name. I totally lost
Welcome
it right
to the
now.
stage, lipstick demon.
Lipstick demon.
Gale Swallows.
Gale Swallows. Yes, Gale Swallows.
So yeah, Gil Swallows is playing the piano. He's doing his nails.
He's doing his nails.
Those are
Gay.
She's getting her mani-pedi on.
So who's gay?
She's like, don't go if you can do it yourself. She's all complaining.
She's fucking slaying, like fucking nail grinder. The sparks going. Her nails are sharp.
Okay.
She's like the old lady.
I'm kind of on her team now.
Yeah, no, she kind of reminded me of like the old lady in like Paris is Burning, who's like, well, you go for the you shoot for the stars, but if you get the one closest to you, you at least, she like does her shit, and she's like, just like a jaded old drag queen, fucking just like,
another day at the job.
Yeah, she's like,
I will say,
all these young girls doing her nails. Fucking loved her.
The hair was a little dusty, but I can get past it.
I mean, he did it himself.
Well, he was bald headed on top.
Yeah, for real.
He shaved it and put it on his legs. That's why.
Dorian Corey, that old lady. Sorry. Anyway, you just need to watch it and you'll be like, that is the lipstick demon.
But yeah, he finds Dalton. Dalton's super scared. He's like, "Don't look, it's not real." And then Dalton's like,
he's fucking watching.
Daddy's watching us, and he's like,
Yeah, shit. Fucking Patrick Wilson come in, I'd be like, I wouldn't be able to control myself.
And from there, teleports right next to him.
He's like,
I was like, what the fuck?
Your dad is Patrick Wilson?
Oh my god!
Patrick Wilson pushes him by accident.
I love your work.
And then the motherfucker does a super.
I loved hard candy.
Shut up! I was gonna say that.
And then the demon does like a superhero movie. It's like, rah! Gets on his fucking legs like fucking Spider-Man.
But I did catch, I don't know if it's a Jurassic Park reference, but his legs kind of stomping reminded me of the Velociraptors. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. It also reminded me of, again, the drag queen Dory and Corey in Paris is Burning. No, I'm just kidding.
And mind you, he's listening to the Tulip song during this whole thing.
The whole time.
He had to do the flip to the leg in the air. I don't know what that's called. That
the dip,
the drop,
the dip. Yeah, the dip.
The dip is all yes. He's all like taking his wigs off. So fucking doing wig reveals.
He has multiple reveals. Roxy Andrews. I was left at a bus stop.
A conservative's actual fear.
Really funny. If after all this, they're like, Dalton, what did you see? Dad, I don't know, but he kept lip singing for his life the whole
time. He's like, tiptoe, but it's all just like.
But dad, I have to say I was not impressed with the outfit. That was just a corset with jewels on it.
For real.
Patrick Wilson was like, they said it was an all ages drag show. And there was a demon.
No.
I have to save my child.
For real.
And Dalton's like, wait, that was kind of cool.
This whole film is like sponsored by DeSantis.
This whole movie started with the deleted scene was in the very beginning. Dalton went to a
drag story
hour. Drag story hour.
That is super fucking like, no, I'm against that. There's no way they're grooming my child.
Based on a true story.
DeSantis comes at the end. Go vote for DeSantis if you don't want this to happen.
DeSantis 2024.
Also, I've been watching, I watch the news way too much, but your fucking governor can't decide how to pronounce his name, if it's DeSantis or DeSantis.
It depends his target audience, honestly.
He's crazy.
He's trying to seem a little Hispanic. He'll go DeSantis.
Yeah. He just wants to be Hispanic, put on some fucking hoop earrings, and he's like, vote for me, DeSantis.
I can't stand that, man.
With like nails.
Oh yeah. DeSantis, the T.
He's all, pero like, go to the store, then go get your fucking nice pañales for the baby, then go and votar por DeSantis, como las Madres Santísimas.
Oh my god.
I hate this state sometimes.
Yeah, I hate our state very much.
Yeah, we're not proud.
I like watch the news or like I just read about it and stuff.
I try not to.
Oh my god, it just gets so depressing. So anybody out there that's dealing with a lot, especially our trans people, we love you, we support you. You're always safe with us, but I'm so sorry this shit is fucking happening. So
yep,
stay strong out there, please.
So go out and vote, and do not keep quiet about things. And the best way to combat shitty things is to just be a voice for the correct side of history.
Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
All right, so going back to Patrick Wilson.
Fighting the drag demon.
Yeah, so they're basically just running away. They're trying to find their way back. They're trying to get back home. Renee's kind of helping Patrick to, kind of calling out for him. When they get to the house, because also now all these ghosts know that they're there, so they're trying to get into their bodies. So all shit's going crazy inside of the house for them. Renee's like, just point the light at Dalton and point the light at Josh. Josh and Dalton go through the back door. Dalton gets fucking chased by the demon. And then Patrick Wilson's character, we see that he's interacting with something.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what happens, but we find out that it's the bride in black.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's like, leave me alone.
Yeah, he's like pissed off.
Yeah, and it's kind of like zooming out on her. And then Dalton makes it to his body. He defeats the demon or whatever. And then Patrick or Josh comes back. Mm-hmm. And we think everything's fine. Everything's back to normal. Dalton's eating spaghetti. He seems very hungry, and I get it. It's been like a year.
And he's like, I'm tired as fuck. And she's like, hell nah, you've been sleeping.
I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of watching this demon lip sync for his life.
Damn.
But I will say, I love this ending a lot. This ending kind of left you like wanting more from this movie, or wanting more after this, because he's looking at his pictures. He hands them over to Elise because he doesn't need them anymore. And she senses something from him when she touches him. So she takes a picture of him. He freaks out and murders her.
Yeah.
And then, yep, just like that, he's choking her up, which honestly, though, like, I know it's a bad situation, but girl.
If I'm going to die, and the way that I die is Patrick Wilson choking me to death. Okay, fine.
I mean, did you see how her face was left? Like, oh damn, it happened.
They move away from her, and
her
like
mouth was wide open.
Yeah,
like just like
they scan out, and she lactated and squirted her panties.
That's in the unrated version.
It was powder. It was.
But then when Renee comes over and she picks up the camera, she sees something, and what we see is that it was the bride in black. And now we know that he was possessed. And then I love the way it just ends, because it just ends with him going, Renee, touching her shoulder, and she goes, it just it gives me chills just thinking about it.
It's a fucked up ending.
Ends. It's like it's so a dark ending.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't try to do too much research on this particular aspect of it, but did they know they were going to do a sequel?
I don't know.
Actually,
I don't know. But if they weren't, this is a good way of leaving us with
what a way to stop
conversation and theories of what happened to them after this.
Because I think that they're usually, like, with their work, they kind of like to leave it kind of ambiguous. Mm-hmm. So, like, if something were to happen, they could continue it. Because they did the same thing with Malignant, where it was like, oh, you're here for right now. And then it could be for a sequel, which it was planning to have a sequel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, because this is the second time James Wan had, like, a franchise. And I know that, like, they moved away from, like, he was worried about with Saw being pigeonholed as being like, you know, torture porn, gore kind of guy, and so he wanted to make a more like straightforward, like scary film with this one, and I wonder, did they know? Because one of the things that I love about the sequel is that it's like Halloween 2, where it picks up immediately.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where it leaves off, to where even that shot is reused. Although I think her reaction is a little bit different in the second one, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I was just curious if you all knew if it was.
I don't know, but then it's 3 years later. So to me, that feels like they didn't know, and the studio was like, well, this one made money, so let's ramp up another one.
Was it 3 years?
It's 3 years later.
I thought it was sooner.
World.
Okay.
2013 is the second one. So I feel like it was one of those, like, this movie made a lot of money and you only made it for $1 million. Can you do another one?
But like, we'll triple the fucking budget or something. Yeah, it makes sense. It totally makes sense. And
because the ending is just so good. Like, if it was just left at that, you're like, damn, they're fucked.
She can't take a fucking break.
Yeah.
But that is Insidious.
Oh, that's Insidious.
We actually made it through.
Wow, look at that. It's
under 3 hours.
This is going to be a long episode.
I'm so happy about it. Yeah.
Why is it that every time we get on someone else's podcast, Paul, they're always like, this is going to be a long episode.
It's fun. I love it.
No, yeah, this is great.
All right, so we're gonna have a review. So like we do with every movie, we grab a positive and a negative review, something that we agree on, we find funny, whatever it is. Who wants to go first? Pablo?
Our guest.
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, so my 1 star. So I read a 1 star and a 5 star, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a 1 star from a woman named Stephanie. I have never in my entire life seen a worse horror film.
Jesus.
And I've watched Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh my
One
God.
Missed Call, The Grudge 2, and that Christina Ricci werewolf movie. Multiple times and on purpose. Insidious is so bad that I immediately rewatched a couple episodes of Amazon Prime's Hunters in order to move past it.
Oh Jesus. That's very
All right.
extra.
All right, process that. I literally had to spend time with Nazis and at least 2 references to Jack I Ruin Women Lives Kennedy in order to exorcise this film from my life. I feel personally insulted by James Wan and Lee Winnell, and frankly, I want an apology.
Jesus.
Well, I feel insulted she called Cursed a bad movie and Freddy vs. Jason, but I digress.
This woman is like a Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Statement.
Too much time in her hands. Her life seems to be doing just fine if this is what she's really complaining about.
Okay. And then here's my 5 star. Well, this one is a 10 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah.
This one's very short. The subject line is eyes closed. Get ready to close your eyes and have your flesh crawl.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love that.
That's it. All right.
Pablo?
I'll popcorn it to Pablo.
Yeah. So my 1 star review. I'll read the whole thing, but I just like the first paragraph. 13 Ghosts meets Exorcism of Emily Rose meets House of a Thousand Corpses meets House of Wax meets Nightmare on Elm Street meets Constantine with special guest Darth Maul. This movie was first of all, I fucking love half of these films. This movie was a freaking disaster. Aside from the psychopath family, when the coward father first enters the further, the movie blew. Just awful. If this movie is considered a 7.3 out of a 10, I weep for humanity. I'm done watching movies. I see 90s movies like Days of Thunder getting 5.5, and this is nearly 2 points higher. Maybe I should have been higher when I watched this movie, or high at all. I was laughing during half of it anyways.
I want to meet these people. What do you...
It's just that people that don't
you?
understand camp, like because it's a campy movie.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it's also
and they just complain
scary.
about
Like,
it.
What's your
Now,
what's in your head?
this is my 10 star. And honestly, whoever wrote this they have a way with words. Like, they have a way with language. So I chose it because it was, like, beautiful. Love. I love horror movies, especially when they are not like other movies.
That was fantastic. That is a critic right there.
Yeah, I was like,
Cool.
I'm crying. That was
I was
gorgeous.
like, wow, Shakespeare could
Yeah.
Sorry, as Brenda says, Shakespeare could
Shakespeare.
never.
Shakespeare.
Could never.
Oh, so good. Carlos?
All right, so my 1 star review is Demon came inside Patrick Wilson after giving him back shots. 1 star.
Oh my God.
And then my 5 star review is a really cool concept for a horror movie, and the ending was such a good twist to tie right into the second film.
Yeah. Perfect. Because I know I know a little bit about the second one. I don't know much, but yeah. My 1 star is Demon came inside of Patrick Wilson after giving him back shots.
Wow.
We did it again.
I love it. You guys are twinning.
John,
my 5
John, I can send you some of my backup ones if you want. Really.
Send them quick. No, but my 5 star is different. I wish Patrick Wilson would strangle me. Sad face.
Wow.
Did we write that?
I think that's us. Yeah, it says scared. Yep, right
Yeah,
there.
okay.
All right. So there's no death really.
No, so I noticed that, and I was like, I told them best scare.
Best scare.
Let's go with that.
I actually did write one. Is it I forgot. I don't know if it's the mom that she goes to pick up something from the cabinet and a hand fucking comes out of it.
Oh, it's Tucker or Specs. It's one of the investigators.
And that one fucking got me because I wasn't expecting that one.
Okay.
I will say the scares for me are the main jump scares are good, but I don't like the piano jump scares that lead to nothing. I was kind of like, yeah.
Okay.
But that one, and of course the classic one, just the red face one. But
that's why I didn't want to pick that one.
I didn't want to pick that one either. Yeah.
How about you, Paul?
For me, so it previously was the guy in the nursery.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one. But this time rewatching it, honestly, I actually think the scare that really got me was the baby monitor when she's hearing him. She's hearing all this talk, and he's like, "I want it now." Like, for some reason, that one just really got me.
Yeah, that one's a pretty fucked up one.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Especially your baby in danger.
Mm-mm.
Baby danger.
Pablo?
So, I mean, everyone knows the lipstick face is classic, right? When it's a little, like, it's like beyond, like, is it a scare? It's like formative now for people. Mm-hmm. So I would say the best scares are a toss up because I actually do find these scares to be the really effective in very different ways. One builds up and the other one just comes out of nowhere. So, and they're the same ones that Paul picked. Like the one where she starts to hear the baby monitor and it goes and goes, and then finally it's just, give it to me now, right? Like, and you don't hear it in the baby monitor more. It's loud and it's like in the house. That to me is fucking terrifying. Like they did such a good job, but they built it up, and then bam. The other one that I think is really great, and I actually do give credit, like they made this man look really scary, even though they just made him look like a man, right? They picked a great character for this. Is then when she's like goes in the room and the baby's crying and she opens it and the man is standing right behind the like bonnet, like the sheer thing. Fuck that. You are like not expecting it. It is so good. It is fucking terrifying. And I think those are the best, and unfortunately they are towards the beginning of the film because the rest that come after are great. There are good scares, but they to me don't compare to like those two are up there with like the Exorcist 3 hallway scare.
Yeah, and those are also the beginning ones are shrouded in mystery as well because we still don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
So I think that helps it way more than the later ones because we already kind of know what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
that's such a good point. Yeah, when a lot of times things are scarier when you don't have a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
As Randy would say, it's the millennium.
Exactly.
A lot scarier when there is no motive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I know it's kind of silly, but that kid running past her laughing really got me today.
Really?
I was like, it really got me. I was not expecting him to like
he would fight him.
Or freeze. Who knows?
Join them.
But I will say also the twins. The twins is just very unsettling the way they just they just like smile, but it feels like there's a cut.
Yeah, it's like they went from like no emotion to cut to smile in an instant.
Yeah,
and you're not expecting it either because there's the rule of 3, but he does it more than 3 times.
Yeah,
and then it's like, okay, when is it coming? And then it just comes.
Yeah,
it's
a good one. That's a really good one. And
the question of the day,
of course,
the daddy of the movie.
Is there any fucking question? The lipstick face demon is the daddy of the movie.
He totally is.
No, obviously.
Patrick Wilson.
Tucker.
It's Elise. Duh.
No, it's choke me like Elise. I like spit in my mouth. Fucking kill me, Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, it's we've all said like kill me, like murder me. That's so hot. Like it's Patrick Wilson. Yeah.
I've changed my underwear 3 times during this recording.
And it's not
4
just because
times when I was watching the movie.
Not just because of his IBS. That's what Patrick Wilson does.
Oh my
No.
gosh,
It was only twice because of my IBS and my.
All this movie needed was a shirtless Patrick Wilson.
That's
Would have
it.
been.
That's
James
the director's cut.
Yeah, James
No,
Wan has
but
like a gay friend that was like, if you put Patrick Wilson shirtless in this fucking film, no one will ever be scared. But you will make a lot of money, so figure out which one you want.
It's like Josh
No,
Segar
but
in
people will be
Scream 6.
wet.
Oh,
But to be honest, in those like short shorts, like I was like,
It's just a teaser. It's an appetizer.
just
it's nice, right? It's the preview to his OnlyFans.
Exactly. Hey, and I think there's gonna be a second Aquaman. He's gonna be shirtless there.
I hope so.
He's gonna be in the second I can't even say it. He's gonna
Yeah,
be in the
posted
second Aquaman.
Yeah, I think he posted a picture. He's like all like disheveled because he's like in prison or whatever. So, but he's like completely jacked and like in shirtless. And I was like, yep, there you go. Carlos's favorite movie.
Yep.
I texted Pablo earlier today. Pablo, what did I say? I was like, Patrick Wilson is uncomfortably hot.
He is. He's so hot.
I will say, gave me Chris Pratt vibes in this movie.
Take a Xanax.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Take a Xanax.
There
Get
was
the
a
fuck out. Where's that sound? Like? Get the fuck out. No, the other one.
I
You
get
need to
it.
leave.
I get it. All white people look the same to you, Jonathan. Like,
Fair.
You need to leave.
I just thought about it for a second and I was like, no, I can't ruin Patrick Wilson. I can't do that.
No.
Don't
Yeah,
you
no. That's all.
fucking
I
do
mean,
him dirty. You need to apologize, or you're never allowed back on Scared Gay Podcast.
I'd have a severe lapse of judgment.
I will say I do appreciate horror nowadays, giving us all these shirtless men. We need more of it. So
That's true.
You know.
there's Patrick
But you said
Wilson
he
and
died in the new one?
Aquaman.
Yeah, there we go. That's him.
Jesus Christ.
Woof.
I hate the beard, but,
what
yeah, he looks so hot.
He's going to direct a new one, right?
What?
The new Insidious? Isn't it
Oh
Patrick
yeah,
Wilson?
he's directing. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And he's starting in it. Mhm.
What I will say is, like, horror movies a lot of times are synonymous with their like sex scenes and stuff like that, and even a lot of times like with the parents, they'll have like a night where they get frisky, and like we don't get that, and we don't need that to.
No.
I don't ever doubt for
Exactly.
a second that Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne are attracted to each other as like husband and wife, but we don't need the sexual like component for this to be a really effective movie.
Yeah.
I feel like
agree.
it also makes it intimate almost because it's kind of like we don't need to see that side of them. We can just even that scene where they're
You know
just kind
what's
of like
funny?
cuddling in
There
bed.
is,
Who's
like,
fucking when your kid's in a coma?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe you
It
need to
just-
release some stress.
It just would have been nice. just to see him.
Just stop being so selfish, Patrick Wilson. The
Yeah,
fuck?
God.
Do it for us.
Kind of how in Scream 6 we didn't need it, but they gave it to us. Just stand there and drink a beer watching the news.
Hey,
Just
cut away.
shirtless.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Pablo, what were you gonna say?
Oh, so I was learning that something has changed recently in society when it comes to, I think, like marketing, that they're realizing, or I think now, like sex isn't selling. And so the inclusion of sex or sexualizing things is now actually playing a detrimental role to the sale of specific products and all that stuff, which has always been the idea that sex does sell. And I think, generations have had that and like some cultural things, but now for some reason sex isn't selling anymore. So it's kind of interesting because we aren't actually getting gratuitous sex as we were. And then we're probably going to not see a lot of shirtless Patrick Wilson, which fucking pisses me off. As a kid from the 90s, sex still sells for me.
Hey, we can always hope for it,
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe he knows, and since he's directing, he's like, fuck it, I'll do it in this one. It's like super fucking random. Like he wakes up, stretches,
That's all
grabs
I
his
need.
titties, and then just cuts away.
Exactly.
Like super fucking random.
Exactly.
Or shower scene, boom, ass shot, cuts away.
I'm hoping full dong.
From your lips to God's ears, and from my lips to his anus.
Or penis.
It's his bussy.
All right.
All right. So I think we just found out who was a top and who was a bottom.
And then your ratings for the movie out of 5.
I'll go first. So there are a lot of like kind of issues, you know, there are plot holes, there are certain things that could have been done better, but which originally kind of going into this, before going to this convo, I was going to say 4 out of 5, but like just talking about it with you gentlemen, I'm like, this is such a good movie, and it's such a fucking scary movie. Mm-hmm. It's really like, this is a movie that I think about, like why we have podcasts and like why we watch horror movies, and like we watch these movies to get scared and to have some sort of reaction to it. There are still a lot of like things that could be better. So for that, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Awesome.
Love that.
Pablo?
So I was gonna give it a 4.75, and I'm not just like whatever. Like, I actually was thinking about that, and I'll tell you why. I think ultimately, like, I think everyone who finds this film is going to find something in this film that they're like, that's not really for me. I'm not really one in films that really wants to see the monster over and over again, or a lot of things. Like, I just don't. To me, I don't like that as much. And this movie does do that. So it's not in my taste. That's why it wouldn't be like a perfect film. And so when I think of films that like fill in all the plot holes, that think everything through, that do this, I think of a movie like Hereditary that really has thought it all out, that everything is like so pristine. And you're like, this is such a great film. And it is a good film. However, as great as that film is as a film and as a story, this film is fun, which is something Hereditary is fun in its own way, but this is a fun film. And I agree with Paul, this is the type of film that like is a reminder of why we do what we do, why we love horror film, because it is an experience of enjoying the fear in a safe way without having to overly reflect and overly analyze all those things, because that can get tiring. I am more likely to be in a mood to watch Insidious than I will be to watch Hereditary, though I think Hereditary is a masterwork in filming for horror, right? Yeah. And so to me, this gets really high because it is really fun. The jump scares are effective. They're great. The creature design, everything is really good, right? It just may not necessarily be my taste, or in some things I'm like, why would they do that? But ultimately, what an amazing story. What a cool film. What a fun ride.
Yeah.
I agree. Those beautiful words, everyone. I gave it a 5 out of 5.
I noticed that. I was like, damn.
Okay, so like for me, like I said at the beginning, I cannot watch this by myself. Yeah. I'm not gonna go downstairs right now and go put on the sequel. I'm not doing it. I need to watch it with someone. And this movie kind of brings me back to my childhood, where we would go to sleepovers and we would be like, what's the scariest thing we can watch right now? So later we're fucking crying and don't want to go to sleep. Yeah. And it's just, there's some magic about that. Like, it brought me back to when I watched The Strangers for the first time with my old friend, my first sleepover. Like, that movie freaked us out. The original Strangers. And this movie is just beautiful. It's well directed. The fucking score is very jarring. So yeah, I think it's a perfect film. Now, mind you, it does have its little moments where I'm just like, okay, like the seance, that scene to me is like a little goofy. Yeah. But I can't fault it for it. I guess it's needed. It's trying, and I think it's a perfect movie. It's a perfect horror movie for me. So 5 out of 5.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. So originally I did put it as a 3. I am more of a Conjuring guy. I love that first Conjuring movie. Every time I fucking watch it, scares the fuck out of me, and I adore that movie. This one, rewatching it and talking it with you guys, I'm gonna put it at a 4, just because those like things that I didn't catch or things that didn't make sense at the moment that you guys kind of cleared up for me. And I did enjoy it. My complaint is more of the unnecessary jump scares, that it's just like the piano crashing and it's kind of like what's happening, and then you're just, there's nothing to it. There's no follow-up, no lead up. But this is something that I think he kind of learned and mastered it for Conjuring. And there's so many little things that I think that he was just kind of learning, kind of implementing just to see how it works, and then kind of making it perfect, I feel. But there's a lot of things I do enjoy. I do enjoy just the aesthetic of the lipstick demon, like that whole room. I was like, this is fucking gorgeous. I wish I saw more of that. I wish every ghost had its aesthetic kind of similar to that, and it just made me want to be like, I wish there was more to it. And that's why for me, it's not completely perfect, but I still did enjoy it. And I was fucking scared. I was by myself at my partner's apartment, and I was just like, okay, I can't look at any corners because there's a fucking demon there. But again, you guys kind of made me cleared up so many things that made me appreciate it way more. So
it's such a good, and The Conjuring too, perfect.
Yeah,
You brought up a really good point as well about there is a little bit of an over reliance on, with every scare there is a crescendo, like or a very like forte music, like beat. And so you are totally right there. I do wish that maybe they had pulled back a little bit on some of those. But at the same time, there's also like this movie, that is kind of, the movie's known for their music. But I completely agree with you. I think that there could have been some scares where that was totally dialed back and it would have been more effective.
Yeah, because it's more about, because I guess I get frustrated because then I'm like, why are you just putting a loud noise and I'm getting like startled, and it's like, it's scary, and it's like, no, you just made a loud noise.
Yeah, he did that on purpose. I was reading. He did it on purpose to kind of get you on the edge of your seat, but then to be like, oh, fuck, kind of to get you like tensed up, but then nothing happens, so you kind of can breathe again, and then it happens again. And so you never know when the actual monster or ghost or whatever is gonna actually show up.
Okay, I see. Oh, okay.
So it was his choice.
Yeah, because I've always seen that, like, oh, don't waste your true horrors on like nothing, and then just leave it to, like, for example, the jump scare behind Patrick Wilson. So it's like, I love those jump scares, and the really big iconic jump scares always got me. But it's just the ones that just don't lead to anything. And I get it. And that makes more sense to me, that I can totally see him, because he is kind of a little troll, and he likes kind of playing with the audience. Yeah. So that makes more sense to me now.
It's kind of like, oh, it might be just another one, but now this one's actually the monster.
Yeah, he's
I always go back to like one of my favorite shots in horror movies, in like a movie that may not be the best one, but the shot, and it's even in the trailer, in The Strangers, where Liv Tyler is standing there and like the music is kind of playing, and then just silently in the background there's the guy
Pillowface
who kind of enters, Pillowface.
It is so good.
It's so fucking scary because it's just silent, and then it goes off. Like, so I wish there had been more of those moments.
Yes.
But the thing about it is, my dumbass didn't notice it until today, that there are more of those, like that little boy standing there in the corner.
There are.
But I wish there are other ones that maybe could have been not highlighted more, but something along those lines, where we didn't need this giant orchestra behind every single jump scare to say this is when you're supposed to be scared.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I also think just having like music, like if it's silent all the time with a bunch of jump scares, it actually changes the tone of the movie, and then the movie now becomes a much more serious film. And I think the movie doesn't necessarily want to be a serious film, so it always wants to be at a fast pace. Bam, bam, bam. Always something happening. Always something. It's if it's not visually, it's auditorily. Like your ears are getting something. Your eyes are getting something, right? And so I do think that does lend a little bit to the pacing of the film and how the film is kind of like, it just like has you pop up for a sec and then it takes you a little bit and then for another second and this time there's something to it and then not, I do think, yes, it's a little, I agree with you, but personally I think it's one of those things like now it's just a part of the tone and the pacing of the film, which makes it a little fun.
It makes me wonder what their R rating would have looked like and what really was cut away or what they were going to put
all
in.
of
Patrick Wilson being naked.
Nude scenes. God.
Yes.
Because I feel like with teenagers mostly, like loud stuff and jump scares are what gets them riled up and like, oh my God.
Exactly.
Like Brenda in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder what the R-rated version of this movie would have looked like.
Yeah, because and I get it that I know audiences or directors want to know how to scare their audiences, and there could be the very like the Strangers, which is very methodical, like he's in the background and then he's not, and it's so quiet. But then you have something like Citizen Kane where they have a random jump scare in the middle of the movie, and then he was kind of like, yeah, I did it because you're probably gonna be bored and I wanted you to wake up, and it's like it's just the director just kind of playing with you,
because this feels like this is an audience movie.
For sure.
Everyone screaming in the theater, laughing together, like this is
and
an
that's
audience movie.
Fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
That's a fun experience.
That was me with the Woman in Black. That was a fun audience experience. But I think that's it. Pretty much it. Yeah, boys. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun. And right now, if you want to plug whatever you want, channel where we can listen to you guys, OnlyFans, go ahead.
Well, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Scared Gay Podcast. I don't know if we ever said it, but Pablo and I are Scared Gay, a horror movie podcast with a gay agenda. And we release episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the general podcatchers, as you will. And we analyze horror movies through a queer lens. And as I said, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Scared Gay Podcast. If you'd like to follow me, Paul, I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Paul You Ever Wanted. And Pablo,
I'm Pablo, and you can follow me on Instagram at The Exorcist SF and TikTok at Exorcist83.
Wow,
and if you
ASMR.
listen to our podcast, you will hear, first of all, a lot of like gross things that we've discussed today. And then also, if you haven't canceled us already and want to listen to more of us, that's where you can. And you'll hear a lot of moaning like that. And then even though it's an audio medium, you will hear my eyes rolling in the back of my head
all the time.
So yeah, guys, please go follow them. Go listen.
Yes,
they're
please.
a great time.
Share some love.
Love their movie reviews, and they're fucking hilarious. Now, if you want to find us anywhere, you already know Horror Daddies everywhere. The link will be at the description below. We have merch.
Yeah, of course.
And then next week, join us as we talk about our 10 favorite moments from the Jurassic Park franchise, because Jurassic Park is turning 30 next week.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
It's turning 30. It's turning 30. It's older than you two, isn't it?
Yeah.
By a year.
By a year. 2 years.
I'm going to go kill myself.
Oh my God.
No, don't say
All
that.
right. Well, I'm gonna go take my vitamin C shot and some fucking like geriatric pills.
I know. I have a date with some Metamucil.
Y'all have bingo after this or something?
Exactly.
Go fuck yourself. We can make those jokes and you can't.
Yeah. Damn.
But
well, boys, thank you so much for having us on.
Thank
we
you.
love you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming on.
And we'll have you back on ours multiple times. We'll do this tag teaming.
Hell yeah.
And one day in person.
We'll just flip flop.
Yeah, we'll go around.
Yeah. You guys once, then us once, and yeah.
Are you bottoming or me?
I'm scared.
I think we know.
Carlos, shut up.
You've
never Carlos never tops. Like, let's be honest.
I do.
I don't know. That's not what I'd be hearing.
I get called daddy. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my personal.
Nobody believes him. It's like, okay, sure, I'm sure.
And
Frankie doesn't count.
All right, guys. So thank you so much, and remember,
stay spooky and stay sexy, and fuck the Santas.
See you in your dreams.
Horror Daddies.
Bye, guys.
Bye.